Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of City of Light and Shadow, a Fate French Resistance campaign, GM'd by yours truly, troopersjp. And I am going to pull out my mic so that it's better. And I'm also very excited for tonight's episode of City of Light and Shadow because it is a solo episode. It's our second of 4. And it is Grimjack's solo episode. And Grimjack is awesome because Grimjack always does the best things in his solo episodes. And I'm really excited to see what exciting things he's going to do in this solo episode, which I assume will be all good things. Yeah, I mean, so I feel like
that's a heck of a lead-in, buddy. But okay,
yeah,
I'll try to do fun stuff.
I feel like I should let you introduce yourself while you're here. So, Greg, and I'm gonna just take my little notebook so I can just take notes about whatever it is that you say for no reason. If you might introduce yourself and who you're playing, and answer this one question. So, actors have superstitions. You know, they're always like little theatrical superstitions that one does before one does a show or after. And I'm curious as to what superstitions our younger Oscar had when he was still treading the boards. And also, follow-up question, does he have any current superstitions? I'm just
Unfortunately, he wouldn't have any current superstitions. And you can say he probably still has the same ones that he had before, but just doesn't have the chance to apply them, perhaps. But hi, Greg, Grimjack21502. Here playing Oscar Müller, reformed Gestapo agent. I would say that being in the theater that I have been, everybody, there's more superstitions than there isn't. There are a lot of people, it's one or the other. Somebody has superstitions that they must do or must adhere to, or I always say the superstition that the other half has is, we have no superstitions. Don't you dare give us a superstition. I don't have superstitions. That's the superstition.
But they still won't say the name of the Scottish play, but go on.
Oh, right. And they always say break a leg. So, I mean, again, it's you can't say knee jerks or whatever. But I would say that Oscars would be, I used to have one, and it would be, I would come into the theater the same entrance and exit the same way, even if it wasn't convenient. So, and it could be different for each theater. It could be different for each show. You know, I would come in through the front door, even if I had to wait for somebody to open it, or I would have, and I don't know why. I felt that if I had a good show doing that, then back in the day, I thought, well, I'm going to leave through the same way. That means when I come back in, it's the same approach to the stage.
Right. Get the same.
And I haven't done it recently. And just the one time I didn't do it, I had a real shitty show.
Oh. So, see?
Yeah, right. So that would be, I'm going to give that one to Oscar. I bequeath it to Oscar, so he will.
Interesting. I'm just going to think about that same entrances and exits. Yeah. Oh, I just noted that I just got a text message. I think I should tell you.
Is it from Elias?
it's from Dot. It's just one sentence. It just says,
kill him.
That's not what it says. It says, please don't kill my fake husband. Thank you. Well,
I hope you listen to her.
We'll see. So everyone, I want to thank you for being here. If you would like to support us and whatever was going to happen to Oscar tonight, there are many ways to do so. The first thing you can do is follow Grimjack. You have to follow his son with the Awkward Teenage podcast. But you can, if you'd like, you can join our Patreon. And I want to thank Void Smoker for some excitement here. You can also draft here as well, I think. You can also tip and bit to this channel. All the monies that comes during our stream for tips and bits, and then also all the Patreon goes to help pay for the cast and our graphic designer and all of that goodness. You can also use your extra credits to give our heroes some fate points, which, by the way, has happened. Limited to 2. I feel very bright today, but that's all right. So I'm going to just say right now we have 2. We have one coming in from BP Phantom and one coming in from Willen TW, and I feel like I should probably just move over to the map screen so you can actually see me give them to you, all official like, so you know that I'm not cheating. Here, you have currently way too many fate points for your own good. You will be at 6 fate points for the group, and I feel like that's quite enough. But I'll let you have it. Those 6, and let me make sure. So thank you, by the way, Willen, who's doing our recaps, and BP Phantom, who has been such a lovely member of the Foxhole for such a long time. And let me let you know that you have 6 fate points as a group, and then, of course, 2 individually. And I have 1 in a very, very unfair sort of a way, which clearly is about cruelty and not letting me have any good things in the world, but it's fine.
Don't worry, Trooper. I'm sure I'll give you plenty before the night is up.
Thanks. I appreciate it. So let me see. What else do we have? No. Hescape. 2. Once the group gets a bit more back on their feet, we'll see if we can bring it back up to 4. But at the moment.
Well, let's just, Trooper, just don't say no. Just maybe put a pin in it, and that's something we can think about. We could just think about it. We'll think about it for this episode. Maybe like at the break. We'll make a firm decision.
We'll think about it. So yes, those are the ways to support us. Also, you can retweet our going live tweet. You can let your friends know that we are running. This show does what it does because you are here. So thank you. Also, being here is great. Watching us on YouTube, if you watch us on YouTube, thank you. If you comment on the YouTube, I will always give you a comment back, as long as there are not a million of you, which there are not currently. So I certainly currently can. But I feel like that is everything. Is that true?
We can talk for another hour or 2 if you'd like. I kind of fear what's going to happen when we pull the curtain, but I stand ready.
Yeah. Why don't we open the curtain? Why don't we do that? I think that'll be fun. I've got my notes. I'm ready. I've got my spine. I've got my orange crush. When we when we left the episode last week, it was the aftermath. It was Christmas Eve, and it was the aftermath of an assassination. Holger Leixner, a propagandist, a member of the SS, a captain in the SS, who specializes in propaganda, who is technically dead, but is currently, Oscar's currently taking on his identity, and is the husband to Regina Krause, and they are having a lovely time. His mother-in-law showed up, and they killed her because she was going to stay in their hotel, and because somehow she heard that Holgar was in Paris, and made her way to the hotel where he was at, that she also somehow knew where he would be located, and showed up. And she could not see her son because she would be able to know that he was not who he said he was, and so she's dead. In the aftermath of all of that, the SS came to interview all the people who were part of this attack, because there have been now, a number of attacks on what seemed like the Berlin Nightingale, Frida, this opera singer. 3 of them in short succession. She was kidnapped, and then there was a communist attack on her, and it looks like another communist attack on her. So it was, not great. And in the aftermath, the SS went to go and interview our members who were involved in this incident. Colonel Helmut Knochen, also known as Dr. Bones, the head of the SS, was planning, I think, on interviewing all of them, but he only interviewed two. He interviewed Frida and the Prince Pritam. And Elias, the head of the Gestapo, ever helpful, decided to interview specifically Regina and Oscar. And those interviews were also interesting. Notes were taken about if there were any discrepancies in stories, and some other conversations were had. Part of that conversation that Elias had with his very dear friend Oscar, was that he happened to find a young woman that Oscar might be interested in for some reason, and that is a young woman named Jeanette. That he'd been looking for her, and she showed up going to her mother's house, and somebody informed, and he picked her up. And he said he's like, hey, do you find that interesting? And Oscar's like, I don't really care. And Elias is like, interesting. And as they were leaving, they heard the sound of her singing somewhere inside that building, 84 Avenue Foch. So, I would like to ask you a question before we start. Oh, and then I should say that our heroes, our protagonists, our antagonists, then left the evening, now the 25th Christmas Day after midnight, driving back to the hotel. But Oscar left the window to the third floor, which was the interview room he was at with Elias, open, so he could get in from the outside if he could make it up to that third floor from the outside of the building. So I just wanted to ask you a question because I was curious before I ask you what you're going to do. I just have this vibe that you and Elias have some kind of a history. Can you tell me something about that?
What would you like to know?
Like, how long have you known each other?
Since the beginning.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it would be right around 32, 33 when Oscar was forcefully conscripted into the war machine. Mm-hmm. Elias, I'm not sure I'm spoiling anything here, was probably going to be hung for certain activities that he liked to engage in. I'm sure he doesn't do any of that now.
No.
But lucky for him and unlucky for everybody else, the communists lost the power struggle in 32, and the Nazis rose to power. Just so happens Elias was a card-carrying member, and so he was that was his get out of jail free card as well as his card of the party. So and ever since then, just because they were on similar kind of entrances, ages, they had a competition. And I mean, Oscar is just way better than he is. Oscar rose and did more things before he arrived in Paris. He was assigned with greater and more important tasks than Elias, which was ever a source of shame for Elias. If there was a choice, it was always Oscar. If there was a second choice, it might be Elias. He just didn't have he didn't have the skill set really. And
he was behind you, so he was like number 3 or 4.
Yeah. I mean, he was somewhere back there. But that was Elias, and Elias being just a hint. I don't know if anybody's picked up on it yet. He's a hint of a control freak, just a smidge. He wanted to. Oscar became his target. Oscar was number 1. Oscar was the air quote champ, and that heavy is the head.
Yeah. Now, both you and Elias were what we'd call sort of like troubleshooters outside of the regular chain of command, where you got to travel, you got to do field assignments, which is pretty exciting. You don't sit behind a desk. You travel to places, infiltrate places, get good information, take down people, do whatever is needed to be done. And I mean, you got some very good assignments, really important ones, and he got other ones. He got what he got, but he also was a field agent, and he has most recently, if I remember correctly, there was some sort of incident in Berlin when you were pretending to be like a roadie for the jazz band, and Nicoletta, who you also know, and Elias were at that party. They did not out you. Instead, Nicoletta's like kissed you in front of her husband and also his boss at this party and said, you should maybe get out of here. And then you all did. And then somehow it was reported that you had died in an explosion at this party with your actual name. And that you were somehow like the lover of Sylvie. That was also in the newspaper. And also, remember correctly, it was the Paris newspaper that it was in, not the Berlin newspaper, that reported your death and, traitorousness. And the next thing we know, your best friend Elias and his wife, Nicoletta, are in Paris, and he is the new head of the Paris Gestapo, because the last one you kind of undermined a whole bunch and he got sent to the Eastern Front. So your best friend, Elias, is now the head of the Gestapo, and he and his wife have been very friendly with you all since you've been here. A lot of, discussions about having lunch together, palling around with each other, as it were. Yeah.
A lot of talk of social engagement.
A lot of talk of social engagements. And before I ask you, I want to just know one more thing. You also have known Nicoletta for a while. Nicoletta, sort of Regina's...
Not nearly as well, right,
yeah,
but yes.
Best ex. How do you know her?
Nicoletta was on the art scene, so to speak, before the fall. And in that, because Oscar, and in Berlin, Oscar was not necessarily a star on the scene, but he was ever present as far as any show he could be in. She was there. She knew him. She was at the parties that he attended. They were in each other's orbit. Beyond that, though, it wasn't like to my knowledge, they never had any, they were never romantic or anything like that, or they never were even friends, as far as they're just acquaintances that. And the reason why I say the romantic thing is Oscar was romantic with quite a few people, but
It's true.
That was another life.
Maybe. Although I do know some of the aspects on the board. Ghosts from the past. Interesting. So, I will just say it's true. You were, I think, a bit more legit when it came to being in the art scene. She was in the art scene, but she played cello, but she was not an artist like you. You know what I mean? Like, you really did things, and she liked to be seen, if that makes sense. So, your party is brought back to the hotel. Your wife shot, drugged up, have to retire, of course. Same with our opera singer, and the prince brought back to his home, his apartment, which leaves you late at night in your apartment. Grand apartment. It's beautiful. Hitler's landscape and everything. With with your house guest and your wife asleep, and you alone in your apartment. Well, not completely alone. There is luggage. Your mother's luggage sitting in the living room of this suite. What do you do?
It's funny you should mention the luggage, because that was part of the plan. Hogar is going to take the luggage and he is headed to the train station. At least that's what he's telling everybody. He's going to put the luggage on the train, get it back home and out of his sight.
As you walk out, it's midnight. You're heading out of this hotel, which is one of the most expensive luxury hotels in France. And of course, the security is very tight because it's where the general is, who's in charge of the occupation forces in France. And it's a there are soldiers everywhere. And as you're walking out with the luggage, of course, one of the bellhops is going to try to help you as you're moving across. But as you're getting to the front door, there are some guards there, keeping everyone safe. And one of them says, "Captain, you shouldn't go out by yourself. It's especially so late at night. It's dangerous. There have been numerous attacks by the communists. Can we? Do you need? The directive is that you shouldn't go out by yourself. We can accompany you or get, sir, if you would."
He would indicate the luggage and just say, in a more defeated voice than they probably have heard Hogar ever use, but he would say, "These are my mother's. I must do this. One last gift on one last Christmas."
Can you give me a deception, although I believe for you it's performance?
Sure. Fair.
Fair. These are guards. They're not these are guards. They look at you and they sort of exchange glances and they say, and these guards are probably like corporals, like they're not particularly high ranking. They go, "Sir, we don't want to, of course, sorry about your mother, but you shouldn't go out by yourself. Should we get you your driver or some sort of accompaniment, sir?"
It's not like he's dismissing them like he normally would, but he just shakes his head. "No, this is Christmas."
And it's one of those things where you can tell they're not going to stop you, but they look concerned because they want you to be safe. They say, wait, sir, do you... And one of them looks to the other, right, these two of them, and one of them says, and there's clearly like a little bit of awkwardness when the other one says, "Sir, you are, we know of you, sir. Captain likes to know that you are in the propaganda department, so I don't know if you are armed, but if you are not armed, you should be. We can get you a pistol if you don't have one on you. There is the directive that everyone should be armed when they go out, so we can get you one if you don't have one, sir."
And he contemplates for a moment. "Oh, you're right." He would indicate the luggage. "Could you see this? It gets to the train station for Berlin."
Of course, but if it's important for you to do it, I mean, we won't, but we just want to make sure you have a weapon on you if it's...
"No, you're right. If I go out and something happens, this is not fair to my wife and to the department, to Germany."
Thank you, sir. Should we send this off now?
Whenever there's more, it's all here. Just send it to the train station whenever you can. I am going to get some sleep, I believe.
And one of the guards makes a whistle, and you can see like the bellhop coming to sort of take your luggage away. And they look at you with a little bit of concern, as you sort of... They're not going to question you, but they are worried about you because you seem not yourself. Because normally you're kind of an asshole, and you are not right now. So they are a little worried.
What time is it? Like precisely, it's like 12:12 or something.
It's probably like it's like almost 1 o'clock in the morning.
Then he would look up whatever the time is in here, which I assume is Berlin time. Yeah. And he would say, "It's nearly 2 o'clock. If it's 2. What time did you give me? Okay, so then he would give the German time of it's 1:57. It's just it's time to sleep."
And they nod to you with just a little bit of, again, it's a little bit awkward. They're not really quite certain to do, but they sort of step back respectfully.
He would nod, and as he's leaving, he would look over, and I'm assuming the staff, they don't get the day off, so everybody, the bellhop was still there.
Yeah, they all have to go and do all that work for y'all.
So he would, in a bit of a show of Hogar, he would snap towards either a waiter or waitress or a bartender, somebody that's in that restaurant offshoot that they have on the first floor. And he would get these men something to drink.
And the waiter goes, oui, monsieur. And
gets him something good.
Oui, oui. And he sort of rushes off, this waiter, to sort of do your bidding. When you hear a behind you,
he'll respond to the suggestive cough.
And behind you, there is a young man with 2 beers, looking a little how would I say this? Uncertain, tentative, perhaps. It's a sergeant that you know, Dirk, and he's standing in front of you. He's in uniform, but his collar's a little bit loose, looking like to you that he's sort of off duty now, although he clearly must have been on duty recently. And he looks at you and he says, pardon me, Captain Leixner, I have heard there was some violence and I thought you might need a beer. And you can tell there's a real uncertainty about how this particular conversation is going to go with you. But he does offer you this beer. It's in it's in a glass. And for those of you who do not know, Dirk was a regular army soldier who does guard duty around, like, patrolling here in Paris, and he and Oscar were both regular soldiers together when Oscar was pretending to be a regular soldier before he was taken away. And Dirk has seen Oscar in multiple guises, and one of the last guises he saw Oscar in was one where Oscar flashed his SS badge to get through a gate without any question, and his undercover secret SS badge, which sort of cooled the relationship between Dirk and Oscar just a little bit. But he offers you a drink.
Hogar will take it.
Captain Leixner, I heard that there was some violence, and I'm... is everyone all right?
No, they are not. And he would clink, I'm assuming, like the stein with Dirk's, and he would drink the beer. Happy Noel.
Happy Noel. I was wondering if I could ask you a question.
He doesn't say yes or no.
I had a friend I would play poker with. You sometimes joined us. I have not seen him for a while. Is he all right?
I do not know of friends that plays poker. I know that a lot of people in war, they die. But some get to go home.
Well, your wife? I heard she was shot. She was always very nice to me, so if you could wish her my best, and I hope she heals well.
Yeah.
Well, I will leave you to your evening.
He would just nod and spin on his heel, would not thank him for the beer, and would kind of, as he gets to the elevators, signal to a waiter to come.
And there's an elevator operator right there for you, right?
Mm.
And a waiter sort of, because they're all, it's like almost 1 a.m. So people are there waiting just in case. In case you need something, and of course you can still hear people in the restaurant. Some strains of music in the corner. It's late, but it's a holiday. People are still sort of celebrating here at this moment. And yeah.
Then before the operator would close the gate, as Hogar walks in, he would kind of hand, like, they usually had little tables and stuff, and the elevators were really nice.
They were really nice. Yeah.
They were really nice. They're like little offices.
Yeah.
So he would put it down on a table in there and take probably the towel that's nearby and start kind of wiping his hands from any of the moisture that had built up. But with his back to the grating before it closed, he would say to the elevator operator, "Is that man in the," and he would describe Dirk, "I want you to note that man."
And the elevator operator, who's a French guy, sort of just kind of looks and goes, "Oui, monsieur."
Close the door.
He sort of shuts this sort of metal door, and then the big heavy door is shut as the elevator starts to rise. Sir, can I?
Could you recall him if someone were to ask you what he looked like now?
Oui.
You sure?
Oui, sort of slightly weak chin, good jaw, brown hair, sort of green eyes, a little bit sort of mid to late 20s, small sort of scar, but does not look like one of those. Sir, I think his rank is a sergeant.
That's what it says, yeah. You described it once before, but I don't want to assume that this is how it still is. Each floor had a guard. Yeah. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. That there were, okay. So whenever they would get up to the floor that is Holgar's, the guard that was there, I'm sure Holgar probably knows if he's a...
you know that like, there's probably like a couple different guards that come through, and you know them.
Right.
Yeah.
As soon as they would get there and it would open, he would again snap at the guard.
And the guard looks. And like he makes sure that he goes to open the door, but the elevator operator has that job, right? And so the elevator operator does not let some German guard open the elevator door for him, so make sure the door's open. But the guard snaps and salutes.
This man, and he points to the elevator operator. You can tell you there is a man in the lobby. It has been an exhausting evening, but he was asking questions. It's about the Nightingale, and it's about my wife. Perhaps I am seeing shadows with swords and with guns, but strange. So he is here at this time of night. He's asking these questions.
And you can tell that guard and the guard next to him are disturbed, right, by what you've said. Can you give me, if you would, performance?
This one's good.
Mm-hmm. And they sort of note, and they get this air about them, right? They get very upright in their posture, and they have that sense of soldiers looking for danger, as if they're almost like there's a kind of like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up when you think that something might be happening. You must now be ready. And they move into the elevator as you exit, and they look at the elevator operator, and there's a seriousness in their eyes, and the elevator operator just presses the button. And
before they go down, he's going to say, this man will show him to you if he is still there, or he will tell you what it looks like. But my mind this evening, it is just note him. Nothing more, just be aware.
Yeah. So we can, if this is...
He is As far as he's a son of Germany, but he is strange questions. Just note him so I have eyes that can see as well.
Jawohl, but sir, we should probably bring him in for questioning if it's there have been a lot of violence.
Not yet. Not yet. Just and it's almost like he doesn't trust the Frenchman.
Yeah.
This one has seen him, but I would like you two to see him.
They nod.
Just see him. So if he is back here again, or he is around the Nightingale, and then we know.
When you say the Nightingale again, you can tell that their tension increases, because there have been an actual attempt and 2 more attempts on this woman who is a huge star in Germany, and there was a lot of embarrassment about it, right, about her getting lost and captured, and this is a very tense moment, and the fact that there have been attempts on her now just a few hours ago, a few days before, there is a lot of tension around this, and you can tell that they are feeling it, and they nod to your orders of not going to just capture this guy right away, but you can tell that they are, there's clearly pressure on them, right? I think that's one of the best ways to put it. There's clearly pressure on them to keep everybody safe in the midst of increasing violence. And you can feel a kind of, almost feels like a powder keg ready to blow, right? This sort of increasing tension everywhere. People are a little jumpy, a little nervous. People have had their friends shot on the streets, right, by communist agitators or young people, and you can tell that your words, the minute you mention the Nightingale, it was a bit of a ping for them, and they sort of go down with this elevator operator to get eyes on someone who, for all they know, could be working against them.
Then what he would like to do with that role that he had, this is what Oscar is going for here. He wants to persuade these soldiers that this is, in fact, this is not something that needs to be acted on, but Hogar is giving them this bit of information that could lead to an act of heroism, that this is something that he is entrusting in them, that he believes that there is a lead here, possibly, but it's one that can't be acted on. It's only a good lead if it happens later, and that's.
And they pick that up, but they're going to get eyes on this person. They're going to find out who this person is, because they want to be ready, right? And they want to be able to report back to a captain who has influence about who shows up in the newspapers or not, with whatever information they can get. And those 2 guards, which are right at that elevator, they go down. On this floor, there are more guards. Most of them are on patrol, kind of like a lazy patrol at this point in time. So your hallways are going to be fairly empty at this moment. It's a huge, huge, massive hotel. And these floors are massive and massive. So there are people around, but at 1 a.m, with a bunch of people being rounded up outside right now, it's a little light at this moment on these floors. And so you have windows of opportunity to sort of move about before guards come back around on patrol.
Then with that, do I get to create, can I create an advantage with that? Okay, the advantage is a suspicious fellow that isn't Hogar.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna give you this. We'll just put a little advantage out there for you. A suspicious fellow who isn't Hogar. And that has 2 free invokes. Indeed. So, I assume that you just want to go home, go to sleep, put your feet up, just have like a really nice, pleasant evening where you just hang out.
No. he would go into the apartment and immediately grab like his dark outfit. This would be like if he was a stagehand.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's not putting that on, but he is going to take that with him, bundle it up, and he's also going to grab, if I'm being super cruel, maybe I will have said I did this before, he grabs the makeup kit that the mother-in-law brought.
Yeah.
So
I love it. Because she has a lot of makeup because she's not young anymore and she likes to look young. So there's quite a bit of pancake makeup, foundation. Like she wears a little heavy.
Right. He's looking for the darker stuff at this point, but he'll just take it with him. And out the window he goes.
I'm going to need from you a couple of rolls. If you're going out your window, I need from you some athletics and also some stealth.
Let's do athletics. Ooh,
that's not good.
Let me do my stealth, and I'll get back to that. There's the stealth.
Okay, the stealth is good. It's not too difficult for you, right? The stealthing part is not too difficult because it's nighttime, right? Like your conditions are good, but that athletics is not good. That is a fail.
Do I need a 2 or 3 here?
You actually need a 4 for your athletics because you're not on the first floor, and you need to get down, and that's a bunch of like really good grip strength. You could fail you could succeed at a major cost. You could re-roll. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm going to spend one of my pool of tokens and re-roll the athletics. I'm going to probably need more here, but no, I don't.
That's a tie.
Okay.
So as a tie, that would be a succeed at a minor cost. Or
can I use my dance specialization here to make it flowery, and that gives me like a +1, I think?
Yes, but you have to tell me how that happens. How does your dance specialization help you with this?
It's at the very beginning, because I think we're on the 3rd floor. Did we establish that? Second or third floor? So he would walk out on the ledge as the snow is there, and the ledge itself being 6 to 8 inches, perhaps, of the architecture. And he would almost leap forward along this ledge, kicking the powdery snow out with the heat, his leading toe. And as he would almost spring like the opening of the Nutcracker, he would just shuffle, and spin and drop as he lowers down and almost parkours down 2 levels and hits the alley.
And it is quiet. Well, in the alley it's quiet. You can still hear the sounds of people celebrating. It's a thing to sort of ponder, right? This is we're coming upon Christmas Day, and most people here are not with their spouses. It's a lot of single soldiers who've been sent to Paris for rest and relaxation. There's a lot of partying. There's a lot of people revelry. You can hear revelry in the streets, in the corners. It's also a little bit tricky because it's very dangerous right now. There's like the tensions with the communists are very high, and you're not supposed to be by yourself. You're supposed to be in groups. You're supposed to be armed. You're only supposed to go to the brothels that have been commandeered by the German government, or stay in places commandeered by the German government, which is a lot of places. The military's just come in and said, that's our movie theater, and only German soldiers can go there, and that's ours, and that's ours. And you're supposed to stay in those places, but still, sometimes people sort of linger out to other parts of the city because it's a little bit more fun. And so you can hear in distant spots people laughing and some singing of German songs, folk songs in the background. And there's just sort of this kind of general sense of slightly desperate revelry out there. Whereas, of course, in the hotel where you're at, you have some important generals and people who, some of them have brought their spouses with them, and they're having a bit more of a sedated and pleasant Noel. But you in the alley are by yourself, except for a scrawny cat that's exceptionally underfed that sort of makes its way, that skitters right down the alleyway through some of the trash.
He would note that feline, perhaps for later.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where things get dicey.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar would know, but has never interacted with, as far as I know of, unless he was in the room but not making any conversation, with members of the Communist Party. But he knows of them because of the. Okay. Would he know where to find them?
That is a very good question. And I would say in the city, no. But you do know about, and I do not think you have ever been there, but you certainly know about the airstrip. Because this was a bit of a conversation, right, about that happened not too long ago, about where to bring in people, right? And there was this was not too long ago, actually. It was like a couple months ago, where you needed a plane to come and be able to land. And the question was where to go. And you knew that the communists have an airstrip that's about 50 kilometers north. I believe your team would have definitely told you about that. And you know where that is, but you also know that there was a bit of a falling out, and you could not use that airstrip. And so instead there was this question about maybe using Hannah's family farm for that airstrip. And in the end, I think actually found a different location altogether. But you do know that cell that Mother Courage was leading had an airstrip about 50 kilometers to the north outside of this small town. And you do know that location. There's a barn, there's a farm up there. And you would know that certainly because of all of the sort of logistical hullabaloo that happened when things did not go well between Regina and Mother Courage the last time they spoke, which was not that long ago. And you probably actually have seen a couple of them because they came to help when you were being attacked, when the club was being attacked by the French Gestapo. So you have certainly seen some of them.
Okay. That's not going to logistically work for him then. So if that's the case,
they're just north.
Right. Getting out of the city and back in is not easy. It's not something you can do quickly.
The only place you know about them in the city seems to have been raided. So that's not great.
Right. Okay, well, then what he is going to do is he is going to make his move towards the back whence he came.
There is one other thought that you might have based on knowledge that you have, and that would be that you know, because this was a bit of a problem, but you know that your team, the SOE, supplied them with a radio, with actually two. There was a bit of a thing about that. So you know that they had a radio here in Paris, probably somewhere in there, and you know that they had a radio out by that farm. And you also know that Regina was the one who helped set that up with them, which means if you had a radio, you could probably get the frequency they listen to from Regina, and you could contact them via radio. There's always a risk, but you could do that.
Is Falstaff in city? I can't remember what.
Yes, he is. You know his route. You also know his emergency drop box.
Yeah, he's going there then.
You make your way across the city. You're in your uniform right now, or have you changed?
He's in the uniform, but he's bundled up.
Yeah.
And what he's going to do too is I have the warehouse where I have all of the stuff for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever it is convenient, like when he's passing by that as the crow flies, going from wherever he is to wherever he is going to put on a uniform that looks like Dirk's.
Mm-hmm. A good army sergeant's uniform, somebody who's probably just on patrol. You would probably want to make it look very realistic to have a rifle.
Sure.
I imagine you probably have a prop rifle if it's from the warehouse. You make your way to a very small chapel. This is where his emergency drop box is. And outside of the chapel, there is like a brick that you can remove and put a note in. And this is the emergency drop box. So if you put something in there, you're supposed to flip the brick around. The other side of the brick has like a kind of like a little yellow mark on it that just looks like sort of like paint from when people are putting up posters, and you're supposed to flip that around so that that little yellow mark is visible.
Yeah, he would do so. And the note would simply be, it is a good day to pray. And he would head into the chapel.
The chapel is quiet, still. Really, it's open because people need to pray, but it's empty. So it's a kind of a small and out-of-the-way chapel. It's not too far from Montmartre, so you've traveled quite a bit. And you have to wait. How long do you wait, by the way?
He'll wait until about, let's see, it's 1:30, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
He'll wait till 3:34.
Okay. You don't have to wait that long. It's, let's see, if it was about 1:30, I would say about, 2 o'clock. Then about 15 minutes from there. So let's say about 2:20, 2:25. It's about an hour you wait when the door opens behind you, and Falstaff, dressed, looking sort of like an average sort of laborer, clearly not shaven yet, a bit tired looking, comes in, and he sort of sits down at the pew right behind you and a little bit to your left, and he begins to... He seems as if he's in prayer, but in so doing, he sort of leans, right? He sort of kneels, that little, kind of like kneel, like in the pew. There's like in the pew in front, there's like a little kneel bar that you can sort of flip down at the bottom, and so you can kneel upon it. So he's sort of kneeling on that little bar and leaning forward to pray, which puts him very close to your head, but still behind you.
And for the entirety of his time there, Oscar would have been like his lips moving as if he were saying the rosary. But instead of saying a Hail Mary or anything of that nature, he would then say, continuing to mutter to Falstaff. And what is the address?
84 Avenue Foch.
And he would say, do you have any problems inside 84 Avenue Foch?
There are always problems. Is everything all right?
Is there people being detained from other cells?
Well, that's a good
people that have information.
It's a very good question. We have, at the moment, my understanding is they have quite a few upper-level communists in there. That said, I do believe they have, we have an agent important who has been there that we've not had access to or been able to get out. We've changed up all of our protocol, but in there would be... having them not in there would be good. However, you're not going to...
If they cannot be in them, is it better if they are not alive?
And you can see there's like a pause as he thinks
He
about
would
it.
he would read the pause. What does it look like?
It is a woman. One of our radio operators. We believe she's been taken because the broadcasts we've been getting are not from her hand. But she is, well, young, early 20s, dark hair. Well, she's got brown eyes. Her hair's sort of long. I don't know what she looks like now. But if you're to contact her, you should know her by Mistress Quickly. Her French is impeccable. Her English is, well, she's from the north. I don't know if that means anything to you. Yorkshire. She was my understanding from her records, a shop girl, who was very good at what she did. It would be best if we could get her out. But I don't recommend some sort of...
But she knows a lot as well.
She does. Although, she doesn't know a lot of the rebuilding we've done. She's been there for some time.
Do you know, or should I say, do you have someone in one of the other cells that at least can converse with the communists?
That was you all. It's, and they've been under quite a bit of tension, pressure recently. Their activities have gotten, well, a lot of attention, and there's political pressures as well. I was hoping that you all could have repaired fences. Not that I like the communists, the Reds, but things are getting difficult and every hand helps.
The enemy of an enemy.
Yes. That's a little bit difficult as well, because one of our friends are not good friends, and now it looks like two of our friends are not very good friends with the communists. But they are here, and other people are not here, which is something. I do know from the records, Guildenstern's reports, they have an airfield, an airstrip, a bit north of here. Unfortunately, quite a few of the people, as far as we understand, are being held in Avenue Foch right now, including some high-ranking members of their cell.
I need to get a message to them.
All right.
Even if it is delivered to the airfield.
Yes, what's the message?
The message is, I'm going to help with the people that are in this building. It's 84 Avenue Foch. And that this is a gesture that should be looked at as an olive branch and not the rifle.
Puck. I cannot, in good conscience, recommend this course of action. It is unless through your connections you can do something that is less dangerous. I know you have access.
It'll be so easy, he lies.
Give me a deception. Which would be your Ooh, yes. Let me go and get my Falstaff, if you do not mind. Let's just see how he's doing. Hey, Falstaff, where is your empathy? There it is. That was a terrible roll. So he sort of nods, not looking at you, but just hearing your voice. He says, well, this seems like a somewhat large breakout. How may I be supportive?
Just let them know. And also, and he would give, he knows plenty of wannabe actresses and actors, predominantly actresses.
Mm-hmm.
How is your singing voice, Falstaff?
Mine? Well, yeah. I sang a bit in college in the old, drinking songs and whatnot.
Whatnot.
Yes.
And he'll have a list that he has written with maybe like the charcoal makeup pen, and gets these people together. They are attractive. Tells them that this is a moment to potentially see themselves on the screen. And the message is to just come to 84 Avenue Falk and sing outside the songs of the day.
All right. I'm going to be traveling out to get this message out. I assume it's urgent, to the airfield.
Yeah.
Good. Will you pass a message along for me?
Of course.
Just tell Guildenstern that I appreciate her letting me know about my father.
Yeah.
You'll be safe. I don't want to, lose another agent. Or two. If you're going to be there, and you have access, there are some things besides our agent, Mistress Quickly, who I would appreciate if she could be liberated. I don't know how much you can gather, but it would be useful if, they have started their own radio program. This is mostly military intelligence is supposed to do this, but they've started. They have radios. They are doing, a little bit of conflict, I think, with military intelligence there. Not supposed to be doing this. It's actually somebody else's jurisdiction, but they've started, and they have some keys. Might, if you're there and you could arrange such a thing, a bit of sabotage of their radio bay would not go amiss.
If I can fit it in.
That would be very useful. If you find anything of use while you're there, I assume your pass will get you in. I don't know how you're going to smuggle people out, but I'll be heading off north. Well, getting your choir first, and after that choir, head up north to see if I can not get myself shot by the Reds.
He would put his hand out. Happy Noel, Falstaff.
Yes. Happy Noel. Good luck, and I shan't be there if you need me. I'll have a... I know Elodie by look, and hopefully I can convince her that this is something positive. It will be a bit difficult, but bon chance. Don't take any unnecessary risks. Don't want to lose anyone else.
Ah, you know me.
Yes, you are somewhat... Well, you always seem like you had a good head on your shoulders, and I'm glad that that group has you. If you don't mind me asking, I'd like a bit more of a report from you all. I know that it's a bit more difficult where you're at, but if you could at some point pass something along to Marie over at the flower shop, I'll do what I can to return. I think I should let you know, well, things might be a little bit complicated. Free France has just liberated some islands up, Iceland, Greenland, that area, from Vichy France. And that's going to be a big victory for de Gaulle, which is going to cause tension with the French communists. So there's a bit of politics running about. And I have to also say, a woman was killed. Carlotta Oswald. She worked for the German military intelligence. It was reported she was shot. You should know this is causing other troubles back in London. You should be aware that she was in contact, not with our outfit, but with a different outfit. There was someone else. She was part of a group that was trying to, we didn't do right by them, but they were trying to sort of overthrow Hitler, as it were. And she was an important courier between those people, and, well, she's been murdered. And that could be quite bad for the fifth column. So be on alert. Find out. Just be careful. It looks like people are on alert. And it doesn't look good for our team a little bit, so just be aware.
He'd clap him on the shoulder.
Yes.
Chin up, old boy.
Yes. I should head off. Thank you for letting me know. Is this the... Well, I don't need to know too much, security and all that, but you have security protocols in...
Of course.
All right. I will expect to see you, or hear from you, shall we say, tomorrow?
You shall definitely hear of me.
Good. All right. Presumably you have trucks and whatever you need. Well then, give my best to the rest. I will take care of this. Is there anything I should be telling them when I contact this choir of yours?
Tell them that opportunity comes in the form of a present, and that the eyes behind the lens are always watching for someone to be stars.
All right. Now, good man. Listen. I know this is, a bit of a tricky wicket that you've got going on here. You'll have to sort of use your contacts, and I don't want you to ruin your cover and all that, so don't take unnecessary risks. But, you should know that, I'm watching out, and I know that you are capable, and your team is capable, and you are at this moment one of our most, important cells right here in Paris, as we're trying to rebuild. So please note you have the full support of the SOE and anything you might need, and I also have complete faith in you. Terrible roll on his part. That was awful. I'm going to spend my fate point to re-roll that. If you do not mind, I will get it back after this scene, so it's all right. I have a question.
That's a bit of a swing there, Trooper. -1 to 7.
He's attempting to put an aspect on you. Do you
Sure.
resist?
Do I get to know the aspect a 4 is placed?
I want to give you a little bit of excitement.
Oh, sure. Do I get to what would I have to do to resist the aspect? Is
Will.
it fate point? I have to will it.
Mm-hmm.
He can put one on me. Whatever. We'll see how this goes.
All right. He would like to put upon you the aspect motivation that you have, that you are not alone, is what he would like to put upon you, if you do not mind.
Who am I to argue?
Mm-hmm. Oscar, you are not alone. That you may use. You have 2 free invokes because he rolled exceptionally well, and you chose not to resist that. So you have an aspect with 2 free invokes that you may use as you will.
Sure.
And he sort of steps up, and he sort of makes the sign of the cross, and gives you a bit of a wink, and kind of looks around to see if like anybody else in the team might be about, and then he heads out and back out into the snow, leaving you alone in the church.
He's going to wait about 20-30 minutes and then head over to 84 Avenue Foch.
84 Avenue Foch, the street of terrors, the street of spies. This is where the Gestapo, the SS, the SD, where they all have their headquarters in this building, but there are also other little buildings here and there where they have, like the French Gestapo has their building not too far from here. There's a whole little spot here where they've all sort of come in to do their work of torture and theft. And it is a nondescript little apartment building. Well, it's not that little, it's 6 stories, but it sits there. You wouldn't necessarily imagine looking from the outside that this place is a place of violence. But you know. There are guards outside this building. You can see 2 up front, and you know from being inside of here, but it is very, very secure because they have important prisoners there. And you have been in this building, well, gosh, every day for months when you first got here. You know this place. You know its security. You know how heavily secure this place is. You know every floor. I mean, you've been here. You know how the first floor has been filled up with large offices. You know how the second floor has got a radio wing where people do some radio work, which they should not be doing. It's not their jurisdiction, but it's fine. They don't care about that, really. More sort of offices. The third floor are a number of offices that are, some of them are empty for interviews, but sort of pleasant ones. This is where you would often take people as guests into that third floor. The fourth floor are where some people stay. There's some sort of rooms staying there. Some of the people who work here also live there. Some of them actually live in other hotels instead. But the fourth floor is this sort of slightly living space. There's some apartments there. People who live there. Offices, a lot of offices there. People who are working there. The fifth floor is cells. Most of those apartments have been turned into cells. A number of the people are sort of kept on that 5th floor, just sort of for a lot of long-term sort of being held. The 6th floor is where a lot of the torture happens. There are cells up there, interview rooms. This is where it's a bit more extreme, because it's the top floor. High security people are also, like, very, very important prisoners are kept on that 6th floor as well. So you have the most important prisoners, and that's also where all of the torturing happens. If they want to break someone, they will often move them to the 6th floor so they can just hear all of the torture happening, just to get them in the mood. So you've got, like, high priority prisoners and the torture rooms up there. The 5th floor is just most of the cells where they keep most people there when they're not being tortured, or who are not high priority. 4th floor, mostly apartments and offices. 3rd floor, offices, lots of offices and sort of guest spaces. 2nd floor, more offices, bigger offices, a lot of sort of main things coming in and out. Some of this sort of in the back is their radio bay, and that bottom floor is where a lot of the public-facing stuff happens. People coming in and out for like if somebody wanted to go and like inform on their neighbors, they would come to that 1st floor. There's spaces for them to have interviews, a lot of paperwork and filing cabinets, that sort of a thing. And yeah, this is a place you've been to a lot. And you remember when you were here pretending to be just a regular soldier, that Jeanette was kept on the 6th floor back then, a long time ago. And when you watched her being tortured over and over again for days and days and days and weeks, it was up on the 6th floor. And you probably also remember that even on the 1st floor, you could hear people screaming sometimes. Just at any time. And sometimes out on the street, you could hear people screaming. But this is the building that was where you worked as a guard some time ago.
He would know then, especially with the light duty that's going on right now. And I'm assuming that the people have been sent out, in search of roundups and things just in this particular area, or further towards the radio station and everything. But, drawn from this area, I'm assuming. He is going to take the uniform that he has that looks like, I'm assuming it's an actual military uniform, because,
absolutely.
This is the one that is very similar, as close as he can get to Dirk's, and he's going to fold it neatly and put it, beneath a basket in the alleyway, near one of the waste receptacles to keep the snow off of it. But he's going to leave just a little askew, so you can see just a little bit of pant leg. And then he is going to strip down and put on the tight, black shirt. He is going to take a bit of the black fabric and wrap it around the top of his head, wrap it across his face, so he has like a bit of and he's going to use the black charcoal makeup of his mother, and he is going to draw it across his eyes like he did when he was Oberon in A Midsummer Night's Dream.
I like that very much. Can I get from you, I feel like you are creating an advantage at this moment.
Sure.
I feel like you're trying to create a stealth advantage, is what I feel like. This feels to me like you're setting yourself up for success for later. Could you roll a stealth? You're looking at a 3.
Sure. There's that 3.
That's a tie. So what you can do is you can not create the advantage, but get a boost that's a one-time use only. Or you can... yes. Do you have any current... You do not have any current aspects that you could boost, it does not look like. So, yes, you can get a boost. Just like a little one-shot that you have to use that will not last.
Okay.
Which is like, you've got some good gear, is what we'll call it. Some good stealth gear.
Can I I have I'm going to ask you if I'm allowed to use this,
Please.
but I was thinking it might work. I have a stunt that, as the artistic director, I may, whenever I'm talking with anybody, I get a bit of an advantage. But also, additionally, you may spend a fate point for access to entertainment resources or contacts. In conjunction with the Oberon outfit that he has created for himself, can I spend a fate point to give my little Christmas choir outside that much more sway over anybody that might hear them inside?
You give me a fate point and you get your choir. You will get your choir, and it will be a good choir of people who are like, oh, because, they know that you work for the SS. Holgar does. And if this will be useful and helpful, you've got some wannabes who will sing some good songs.
Right, and I want the pretty girls out front, because the soldiers.
Absolutely, but I want a fate point for it, because absolutely you can have it.
As I get rid of this fate point,
which Boom. Brings you down to 1, I believe. Yes.
I got rid of it from the fate pool.
Oh, nice, perfect. So, what would you like to do?
I think we talked about it at the top of the show, Trooper. There's a superstition that you go into the stage the way that you want to exit the stage. And so he's going in through the window as soon as that choir starts to sing at the other side of the building. I want to draw these guards out to look, to hear the songs of home, songs of Christmas, of a family that is absent in these times of war. They might be gone forever, except in the notes and melody of these songs. I want them to look, to shed a tear, to maybe mutter a few words along with the choir while I climb in through a window.
I need a question about the Roses, your faction. What skills does your faction have, my friend? I feel like, what is your undermine? Oh, your undermine is very good. This feels to me like a faction action. Could you roll undermine? Get rid of one of your readinesses, your tactical readiness, and roll undermine if you will.
Okay, roll undermine.
And let me get my SS up.
It's good.
What did you get, my friend?
It's a 3. It's good.
Oh, that is good. All right, that is good. Let me get our SS. They are going to have their security.
Well, it's your SS.
Well, I mean, you know. How is their security? The security is great. What would you like to do about that?
I think now would be the great time to use that boost with my Oberon outfit to get in.
That brings you up. You beat them by 1. I have only one fate point, which I'm going to keep right now, because I don't want to use it yet. But that is going to stress out our SS just a little bit. They will not that part, because there's like a bunch of guards who'd be hanging out there because you're going after a kind of a large faction, but this will keep them distracted so you don't have to deal with excessive amounts of badness. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Oh, yes. So you wait. You're going to have to wait about an hour as you're waiting there in the alley. And you start hearing some shuffling. You're getting close to 3 in the morning Berlin time, 2 in the morning Paris time? And
it'd be actually about 3 Paris time and 4
it's about
German time.
3, 4, and you start hearing singing. And it's, you hear Stille Nacht, but with bad German accents, by a bunch of French actors, performers, cabaret artists, singers, actors, who are putting on a very good show. You can't see them from the alley where you're at, but you can hear them singing. And there's some movement, and you can hear the front door creak open and some shuffling. You imagine you have some guards right now who are watching.
Up and in.
Give me your athletics. You need to get from the ground floor to the first floor balcony, and then from there you need to get up, right? Because you've got a bit of a ways to get into that window. Not good enough.
Is it a 3 to?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll drop a fate point so I can.
Group or individual?
I'm going to take the group out.
And
it's easier for me.
And what's the aspect?
The show must go on.
Mm-hmm.
Show must go on.
Now, do you tie, which means you can...
Actually, we'll take Soul of a Dancer, because this is how I got in.
That is
I'll
better.
take Soul of a Dancer.
So now this is a tie, which means you can succeed at a minor cost, you can fail but gain a boost, or you can partially succeed.
I will succeed at a minor cost.
Take a physical stress. As you're sort of trying to, like, you have to, like, slightly overextend to get there, and it just kind of, like, pulls a little bit, you know, like in your shoulder.
Gotcha.
Nothing too bad, but, like, it's a little bit of an ache. And as you make your way into this office, where you once had this interview, not Elias's office, you know, his office is on the 4th floor, where the apartments are and some nicer offices. Can I get from you an awareness?
You sure can, Trooper.
Mm.
Boy, oh boy, my rolling's great tonight, everybody.
How do you feel about that?
I wouldn't say I feel great about it.
Would you like to succeed at a major cost?
Do I still get to fail with a boost?
You can this is a full fail. Yeah. So ties you can get a boost, but with a full fail, it's just a full fail. Or you can succeed at a major cost if you wanted.
I am going. What do I need here? 2 or 3?
You need a 3.
I tell you what. I'm going to fail this.
Okay. You're in this room. It is quiet. Very quiet. Except for like the ticking of a clock in here. And the sounds of the choir singing outside. Guards shuffling here and there out in the hallways. You notice all of that. The room itself is empty. What do you do?
At this point, because he knows the building, he is going to make his way in the direction that he heard the music or heard the song being sung. It's his only point of reference. And so if he's moved her, that's a risk he's going to have to take. But
when you heard the song, you heard it coming from up. You were on the ground floor. You're on the 3rd. You've got 3 floors above you. Where would you like to go?
Do they have generators here?
They certainly do, probably in the basement.
Right. I love generators.
They generate such goodness.
They do, and they require such greatness to create such goodness.
They do.
It's lean, everybody. Or kerosene, whatever they're running on. Yeah, let's go up.
I wonder what Elias is doing right now.
We're gonna have to find that out.
So I have a question for you. You're going
Sure.
up. I suppose you're going to take a back staircase.
He would know the least used one, yeah.
Yeah. Which floor would you like to go to?
Take me to the 5th. He would know that's the cells. The only reason why he's not going straight to the 6th is that it's Christmas morning, and even torturers might take today off.
This is true, but I will say that high priority prisoners would be on the 6th floor, like really high priority prisoners.
High priority, but the general populace, the people that have been rounded up and brought in, would be on the 5th. Yeah.
And there will
Let's
be
go there.
guards.
Sure.
Some guards out there. You make your way up to the 5th. You're behind this door. There are people out there. I'm going to need, if you want to find some stuff, this is going to be discover action. Is what this is going to be from you. And you can use, I would recommend awareness as this discover skill. But, you know, that is up to you. You can use different skills to ask me some questions if you like.
Yeah, I'll take awareness. That's
not good enough. So you may ask a question at a major cost, or I can ask a question of you.
Let's turn into this. Ask a question of me, my friend.
All right then.
When the dice start doing this, you gotta roll with it. You gotta roll with the dice.
Here's the question. Elias wants to know something. Elias wants to know if you've come into the building. He's been waiting. Have you?
Oh, yeah.
I see.
He knows I'm there.
He knows you're there. He may not know exactly where you are, but he knows you're here. He's been waiting for you. Interesting. So, you make your way into the 5th floor, I assume?
Can I spend a fate point to create an advantage on Elias since I know he's here?
You can if you like. Please do.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Please do.
Can I just create it, or I have to roll, or do I?
It depends on what kind of advantage you want.
Oh, this is easy. He knows I'm here, but I want him to think, am I the hunter or the hunted?
This sounds to me... You could go this one of two ways. I feel like this is probably a deception or an empathy to mess with his mind. It's one of those two.
Yeah, I'll take the deceive just because I don't know. Try about this. It's good.
Okay, all right, not bad. Let me get my Elias out because he's just hanging out a little bit. I have 1 fate point.
Also, at this point, I'd like to use. I have an advantage though.
Yep.
That he has an aspect on him that I have invoked for Hogarth, the bigger man.
I believe that is an old aspect, yes. Oh no, it's right there. It's right there.
It's right from last session.
It is right there. You may invoke it, which will give you an aspect with 2 free invokes. Yes. A little bit of psyops. Let's call this, on Elias, Hunter or Hunted? With 2 free invokes.
Okay.
Where do you go? You can see the hallway up, and there are all of these sort of once apartments, now sort of turned into cells, cramped. And this is a fairly large space. There are many, many of them.
Well, as he did whenever he went into kill the chief of police. He's got his what's that collapsible machine pistol we have? Those stens? Is that what we have?
Yep.
He has the sten. He has his pistol, but he also has that big long blade because I think that I'm probably going to need that at some point for somebody else that's aimed or named that. Is there anybody I could use the blade on?
I have a question for you.
I start to play the video game Commandos for all of you old people out there.
Would you like a fate point?
Why?
You see, I feel like one of the aspects that's on this building is a high security building, which makes me feel like I can invoke that to have a patrol of guards come by and see you right about now. I feel like that could happen. If you would like a fate point.
How many is a patrol?
I would say it's late at night on Christmas Eve. Well, Christmas morning now, early in the morning, Christmas morning. I'd say 2.
And if I give you the fate point, they don't show up.
That is correct.
Yeah, I'll give you the fate point.
All right. Fine. I'm just saying they're patrols. I just want to know if you want one.
But if they come up, I get a fate point, is what you're saying.
That is correct. It's up to you.
It does want to make my life unpleasant. Absolutely. Let's do it. Give me a fate point. It's Christmas Eve, and I haven't had my present yet.
I'm going to give you a fate point. So, you are creeping, yes?
Mm-hmm.
At these.
Now, do they see me, or is it just like
they will see you? They will see you. They're going to see you, and they're going to. It's not going to be good. For someone. I don't know for whom, because, you know, I have met you. I have met Oscar, but there'll be some people. Cells. Which ones do you look at? There's rows and rows of them. Doors shut.
He'd peek in any that he, he's not going to not look in one, he's going to, with his eyes blacked out, he should be, at least be able to peek in through if there's a door or window or one of those little, if they've cut,
they've got those cuts in them so they can make sure that people are in there. And when you sort of look, you see people. In one cell, you've got 3 or 4 women just sitting in there. They look to you like maybe French civilians of some sort, about 3 or 4 different ages. In another cell, there's somebody weeping in a corner that you can barely see, some sort of large man. There are a lot of people in these cells, some of them sleeping, quite a few of them sleeping, some of them sort of with heavy racks of like a rattle in their chest. What you see is the effects of captivity, torture, uncertainty. You hear some whispering, a woman talking to another woman. You can hear what she's saying from outside, and she's talking about how, I was captured like you, and my son is, I think he is dead, and they can find your family, they can kill them, there is no point resisting. I just say give them what they want. It is there's no point. I tried myself, but it only brought me trouble, doom. And the other woman just like, I don't want to hear this. And there's this conversation between this older sounding woman who's speaking of the futility of resistance, and this younger woman who doesn't want to listen. There's so many cells. And you approach one, and in it you see 3 young men. And they are tied with their hands above them. They're sort of suspended from the ceiling, so they can't actually rest. They're on their toes, so they're not going to die or anything, but they can't sleep. One is quite burly, and they all look to be they look similar to each other, perhaps related. In their 20s, these young men. And they are just hanging there in this one room that you pass by.
He notes that one.
And you approach one more door. Can I get an awareness?
These have been rocking tonight, so yep.
Would you
It's
like to use one of your boosts? One of your advantages?
The ones on Elias?
No. One for you.
Oh, that's right. Not alone. Yeah, I'll take one of those. Sure.
I recommend that because your number was 3. Your number was 3. I recommend
I
it.
forgot about this. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So, would you like to ask me a question about Jeanette?
Is she here?
We're about to approach this door on the 5th floor. About to look in the slot. When you hear 2 things simultaneously. One is the answer to that question that you've given me, and the other is that fate point that I gave you. The first is you can hear the song. St. Louis Blues. It's being sung. But it's not being sung on this floor. It's being sung on the floor below you.
His office. Okay.
The 4th floor. And then you hear, "Wait! Who are you? Halt!"
He spins and throws a knife.
Okay. I would like you, if you do not mind, to give me your shoot, if you would.
My shoot or my fight? It's a melee. Does it still shoot with?
Well, it is you are throwing. I feel like we can call that melee if you like.
Okay. The only reason I ask is I have a stunt that is specific to this situation. One person show, I can fight multiple combatants with a bonus +2 to fight.
Oh,
and
please do. Oh, please do.
So there's a +2 on this. So it's a 7.
Uh-huh. That's cool. That's cool. Why don't I roll their athletics to dodge? That's a 0. How would you like to take this person out?
So it's a 7, right? That gives me the ability. Can I take them both?
No, unless you have a stunt that lets you take multiple people at the same time.
Can I maneuver myself so I can not take out but silence the second person?
He gets to go before you do. He's gonna go before you are. You're gonna take this one guy out, but the other guy's gonna get a shot at you.
Okay. I want to. No, I'm not arguing at all. But I want to say that my multiple combatants thing allowed me to take out those 2 guys in the apartment building.
Can you read your stunt for me one more time?
It is can fight multiple combatants with a bonus +2 to fight.
Yes, that is correct.
Is that what? And
yes.
I'm not trying to argue and try to get myself out of something.
No.
Because I'll gladly take it.
That stunt does. Well, no, the stunt gives you a +2 to fight, which ups that, which means you can split. You can split that. You have a total of 7. You can split it between them. How much would you like to split between them? You have 7 shifts total.
I'm going to add a fate point to it, Soul of a Dancer, and can I take them both?
That's 9. How would you like to divide those shifts? 4 and 5? I'm
going to put 5 into the guy that doesn't get the knife, because I think the knife counts as 1 by itself, right?
Does. Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's going to throw the knife, and then he's going to go into the other guy and, with the grace God gave him, snap his neck.
That is enough. 5 is enough to get them both. Describe it to me. As these guards shout out like an alarm, and they sort of come towards you.
When he says, "Hey, the end that was the drop of the yup is silenced as the metal enters the front of his neck. As his friend, I'm assuming, readies his weapon, Oscar springs across the boards, these new boards that he is forced to act upon. And he, as he did in the apartment building when he killed Luke's father, he strikes the man in the throat to keep him from saying anything. And as the man reaches for his throat, he pulls the knife out of his friend's neck and jams it up into his sternum and lifts him up. And when he looks at him, he says, "Happy Noel."
And as he crumples to the ground, you can hear people in the cells begin to rustle. And the song outside, and the song downstairs, the St. Louis Blues. What do you do?
He opens up the door with the 3 men in it and drags in the bodies of the 2 guards.
And the 3 men look at you and they're like, "Oh, okay." And they sort of shaking at their bounds, and they're gagged, trying to sort of like get you to like help them out.
He goes and cuts the bonds over the first one, catches him so he doesn't fall, and he says in French, "Die on your feet."
And
he indicates the weapons on the guards.
The first one says, "Thank you, comrade," and grabs, there are 2 of them, grabs a rifle and begins to help cut his 2 brothers down. The youngest brother doesn't get a gun, though, which is sad for him. But, you know, it's fine. He looks around and he grabs the bindings that he was used, and he sort of makes a makeshift garrote out of them. And he says, "I need to roll an awareness, if you do not mind. On you. That's a 1. They would like to ask a question of you. Would you like to... just a discover action on you. Would you like to resist it?
No.
Are you that guy that's with that cell, is what they want to know. Because they want to see if they recognize you as who was in that club, because they have been... the old club, they've been watching it.
Then his answer, if you'll allow it, since I allowed this question, he says, "Get to the airfield and you'll get your answer."
They nod. And the youngest one goes back through the guard and starts like to shake down the body a little bit, pulls out some keys. And they sort
Let them all out.
Nod, and they sort of head out to start, you know, undoing these locks as quickly as they can before more guards come. Leaving you to your own devices. And they move quietly.
When he's gonna like get their attention again, and he's gonna point up, because he knows this is built like the has a back staircase all the way down the back, right? That doesn't go to the. Yep. He's gonna tell them that, you know, they would be aware of it too, I'm sure, because the arc. But he says, "Go to the 6th floor and open the cells there."
They nod, and they head out this way. You're going to go and like try to get as many people out as they can right now, and they're going to sort of move up afterwards. Which
can I try to create an advantage?
Yes, you can, because they might need it.
Okay. This is going to be like, this is the, you know, upon St. Crispin's Day speech. Then
rapport.
Rapport, acting, my friend. Come on, I get to
do it.
Actually,
do it. Yeah. Yep. This is acting.
It's 3. It's good.
Yep.
But, man, that was a really, really not great roll. I'm going to re-roll that. I'm going to actually use a fate point to re-roll that.
Show must go on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Let's do that. Come on. Oh, that's it. That's the bad roll.
They will get 1 advantage with just one sad one, is all they get. And it's we'll call that the mob, and they have motivation. Tell me what you say to them. As these 3 brothers,
and I spend another fate point to re-roll that.
Ooh, do it. What's the new aspect?
Is empathy a weakness?
Oh, okay. I'm ready for it.
Okay. I'll take it. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not my night for rolling. All zeros and minuses. Oh boy. All right.
They're going to move.
Accept
They're
it.
going to deal with some trouble, I believe. But tell me, as they go quickly as they can to try to let people out and then try to get out of here, where do you go?
He's going down to Elias's office.
Stealth. Good.
There's a good one.
That is a tie. You can succeed at a minor cost.
I'm going to use one of my hunter or hunteds.
Yeah. Okay, that is good. You slip. Now, as you're walking down, there are like 2 guards, armed, who are approaching where you're at. Tell me, how do they miss you?
Do they have to miss me, or can they miss me and then they go to sleep forever?
That's if you want to attack them. But you stealth by them, because you was a successful stealth.
Okay. Does that create an advantage, like a sneak attack on them?
It's an overcome. But if you're
Okay.
stealth, if you want to attack them, absolutely.
This might help the other group.
It might. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's gonna just behind and just draw a cross on one of them and then try to get the other one.
Roll your fight.
Oh.
Yeah,
That is a 7 again.
they cannot defend themselves because you stealth behind them. How do you take them out?
In one fluid moment, he as they walk by, he opens a door to an office, and as they kind of turn around, he snakes the knife across both of their throats and then just drags them into the office. So they're dying before they even get out of the hallway. They're still alive in the office, I should say, as they gurgle out, which is gross. I'm sorry.
Oh, I love it. So here's the thing. As you go back out into the hallway, you notice 2 things from back in that earlier roll that you had. You can see Elias's office and the light underneath, coming out underneath the door, the crack underneath. And you know it's his office because it was Hassel's office. You've been to that office before. And you know he's in there. But there's something else. You can hear the song, the St. Louis Blues. But it's not coming from his office. It's coming from one of the apartments down the hallway.
I have a theory. Yeah, let's go to the office. Not Haas's office. We're going to follow the song.
Really? I have a question. I just have a question about your character, that's all. You know how empathy might be a weakness? That trouble aspect of yours?
That I have that. I think I just used it too.
I feel like you did. I'm going to ask you. It's about a fate point, really. You know, it's about a fate point. Do you feel like in this moment, and I feel like it's a possibility, empathy for Jeanette might be a weakness, and maybe you should keep your eyes on the prize, and instead of going to save her for a fate point, perhaps you go into his office. Because why would you need empathy for her when you could go after him? Nobody knows you're here.
And ponder the question, what if?
If you don't go after her, whatever is happening to her in that room, and go after him instead, I'll give you a fate point. I mean, it'll be bad, because badness always happens. But, you know, because then you won't get to find her, because you'll be, well, you know, in that office with him and whoever else is in there. Or you can give me a fate point and, you know, not go into that office.
You know what? Everybody, chat. What do you think? Do you think I should let Trooper decide this one? I'm thinking I might just leave the decision up to Trooper. Chat, do you think that's a good idea, or is it a terrible idea? You know, thumbs up for Trooper. Thumbs up for Trooper.
I'm just saying,
Crit Witch. It is, right?
My question is whether or not your empathy will keep you on track, or whether or not you'll be too cold to follow her and instead follow him. Where do you think you're at?
See, okay, now when you say it like that, that makes me want to give you the fate point, because Oscar is fighting right now.
Yeah.
He's in the middle of the bleed.
Yeah.
He has just killed 4 people in a brutal fashion.
He has, I know. And
but
isn't killing people really nice?
But he heard the song.
He did hear the song.
And so that is the push and pull of the bleed for Oscar.
Yeah.
He's in the violence, but there's the memory of the past. There's the what was. I'm going to give you the fate point because you said that. Because you said that was I think that's the cost for the proverbial and literal cost for Oscar is the fate point that he needs to get to Jeanette.
Because that fate point is you pushing through that violence, and you know he's in there, and he's probably waiting for you.
I'll give it out of the pool.
All right. You head down this hallway full of apartments and offices, and there is an apartment door. And the apartment door just has a little name tag on it. As they do, and it just says Marie Marceau.
Is it locked?
Oh, it is. From the outside.
With a key or just like a slide? Like a
key lock. You would need to pick that lock, my friend. Or,
Do the guards have any keys? Did the multiple ones I've murdered?
Do you want a fate point for it? Give me a fate point and you can have it.
Yeah, because I think was it tradecraft?
It is. It is tradecraft.
Eek. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the fate point.
Give it to me.
Make sure, because I was not clear in going over those. Well, they wouldn't have had it anyway. They had to have a fate point. Okay. So yeah,
you go back to those guards that you gurgled, and one of them has a really nice sort of set of keys because they're on patrol in case something happens, right? For this area, and it's probably only just this floor, because they probably do not give somebody the master key. But that'll be enough to get in if you like.
He's gonna slow it open, meaning the tumblers are gonna drop every 3 to 5 seconds. And then drop it around, creep it open. He wants to see what shape she is in this apartment when she's singing.
The room has a small table lamp on, and you see her. At least you're pretty sure it's her. Except that the Jeanette you knew was blonde. This Jeanette has had her hair dyed dark brown. And she's wearing a very expensive dress. Her hair is, well, nice, I suppose, ish, perhaps. It looks like it has, well, that would be a discover action for that one. Nice-ish. Her shoes, there are a pair of shoes, heels, small heels. They look expensive, probably. She's not wearing them. They seem to have kicked across the floor. The dress seems expensive. She is handcuffed to the furnace. You know, the space heater? That kind of like the accordion style sort of heater.
Gotcha. Radiator. Yep.
The radiator. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. She's handcuffed to this radiator, and her face is just soaked with tears as she looks externally fine. She doesn't look like she's been beaten, and she looks like she is fancy. But she's handcuffed to this radiator, and she's crying, and she's singing this song. And that's where we're going to take a break, as her eyes meet yours. Hey everybody, how you doing? I would like to thank the people who have donated. So I would like to thank Rissa, who has donated 1,000 bits with the following messages. 1, so anxious, worried for Oscar. I don't know why you should be worried. It's just Jeanette looking great. And also, the second message, let's see some better rolls. Chop, chop. Well, she's got a superb there with that fight. Oscar can fight. I'll tell you what. Oscar knows how to murder people. Yeah. I wonder what he's going to do about, this situation. Yeah. My friends, we're going to, go to break. We've got a 10-minute break. I would like you to enjoy, your propaganda for today on our break. It'll be a 10-minute break. It's going to start off in German, but then you're going to get the English coming up pretty soon. Enjoy some German propaganda aimed at the English-speaking world as we take a break, stretch your legs, go and drink some water, and when we come back, we're going to find out what Oscar's going to do with the sight before him. Take care. We're gonna go to break, everybody.
Herrn Sneel und Herrn Wedeke. Als Solistin hören Sie Lili Preissig Sopran, Elisabeth Waldenau Alt, Karl Schmidt-Walter Bariton, Hans Woke Bariton und Wilhelm Strunk Bass Bariton. Die Sendung ist beendet. Hello, North America. This is Germany calling. And that is the end of the German popular concert. And we're now going to broadcast news in English. Our fourth news bulletin of the day. We are operating over 5 stations in the 25, 28, of May. It was 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are operating over 5 stations in the 25, 31, 41, and 49 meter band. Our station DZD in the 28 meter band will join us again in 15 minutes. And here is the news. Today's official German war communique reads as follows. From the Führer's headquarters, December the 28th, the German Supreme Command announces. In the southern sector of the Eastern Front, the enemy, who had succeeded in making local penetrations, was thrown back in successful counterattacks. German, Italian, and Slovakian troops, as well as the SS Division Viking, made up of Danish, Finnish, Flemish, Dutch, and Norwegian volunteers, have again proved their valor. On the central sector of the front, strong enemy attacks were brought to a standstill after fierce fighting. Minor Soviet attacks on the northern sector were also repulsed. On all sectors of the front, the Luftwaffe participated in the ground fighting by carrying out effective raids on enemy positions and on the enemy supply and railway system in the rear. In the Straits of Kerch, strong German bomber and Stuka formations continued their attacks against enemy shipping. 3 transports totaling 2,800 tons were sunk, and 4 more ships as well as a gunboat were damaged. Last night, German bombers sank a British merchant ship of 6,000 tons off the English east coast. British naval units carried out a raid at 2 out-of-the-way points on the Norwegian coast on the 27th of December. After short but fierce fighting between the British landing parties and German patrols of the Union Army, the British troops were forced to re-embark. German bombers attacked the retreating British naval squadron and sank a destroyer. Another destroyer and a cruiser were damaged. 10 enemy bombers were shot down in aerial engagements as well as by anti-aircraft fire. When the enemy approached the Norwegian coast, the German patrol boat Föhn was attacked by numerous British bombers. After successfully shooting down an enemy plane, the Föhn went down in action against a numerically far superior enemy, a cruiser and several destroyers. Several Norwegian merchant vessels employed in peaceful coastal service were attacked and sunk by the British. In North Africa, the enemy's attacks against German-Italian positions were frustrated. Formations of the German Air Force attacked British aerodromes, supply columns, and camps in the Saranika with good effect. During raids on aerodromes and harbors on mortared German fighters escorting the bomber formations, shot down 3 enemy airplanes. Last night, British bombers attacked Western Germany. The civilian population suffered some casualties, a few of which were fatal. According to reports so far received, 10 enemy bombers were shot down by night fighters and anti-aircraft guns. That concludes today's German war communique. German fighters shot down 12 Bolshevik planes yesterday, according to reports so far received. In the central and northern sectors, squadrons of German bombers effectively attacked Bolshevik columns, troop concentrations, and railway lines. A train loaded with tanks and trucks was destroyed, and 6 other trains heavily damaged. 2 guns and a large number of motor vehicles were destroyed. In the Karelian area, German bombers destroyed a number of locomotives and severed the mailman railway lines at several points. In low-level attacks, the German bombers put 5 enemy anti-aircraft guns out of commission with machine gun and cannon fire. This is Berlin, broadcasting the news. The victorious Japanese naval and army units, which had taken Hong Kong, marched into the city this afternoon. At 2 o'clock, Rear Admiral Masashi Nimi and Lieutenant General Ryu Sakai reviewed a parade of the troops in Kowloon. Accompanied by several commissions, the 2 Japanese officers crossed over to Hong Kong at the same point, where on December the 18th, the Japanese troops had advanced from Kowloon to Hong Kong under the fire of British batteries. The 2 high officers then mounted their horses and at the head of their formations rode down Queen's Road, where for 2.5 miles the Japanese troops lined the streets. Squadrons of airplanes roared at low level over Queen's Road while the troops were being inspected. After the conclusion of the military ceremony, the Rear Admiral Nimi and Lieutenant General Sakai received representatives of the population in the residence of the governor. At the same time, Japanese military authorities took over the public installations and traffic system of the city. According to Domei, Japanese troops in their attack on Singapore have reached a point south of the Pokham Line. This line, which was supposed to withstand any attack for at least 3 months, was broken through in exactly 24 hours. The greatest part of the defenders, consisting of about 20,000 Indian troops, has been decimated to a fraction of its former strength. The British retreat evidently was a hasty one because they left behind them 40 tanks, 6 cannon of various caliber, 20 automobiles, and large numbers of other weapons. The battlefield south of the Pokham Line narrows down to a road approximately 6 yards wide. This highway was systematically fortified with bunkers, tank traps, and barbed wire entanglements. It was the only road open for the Japanese, as impenetrable jungle lined both sides of the road. The British had evidently planned to lure the Japanese into this roadway and, after cutting them off from their reinforcements, annihilate them. After the defense line began to crumble, The not over-enthusiastic Indian troops, which had withdrawn, became enraged over the British officers who had preferred to stay well behind the firing lines. A number of dead British officers who had evidently been killed by the Indian soldiers were found later by the Japanese troops. Continuing the news from Berlin. The Speaker of the Army Department of the Imperial Japanese Headquarters in Tokyo stated that the Japanese command on Luzon discarded the declaration of Manila as an open city. The Japanese speaker continued by stating that the Japanese troops would not permit this one-sided declaration to interfere with the execution of all measures necessary for the carrying on of the war. The speaker referred to the fact that Manila itself is the nerve center of the Philippine resistance and that the city is surrounded by important military and naval installations. The Japanese army speaker, however, stressed the fact that Japanese forces would limit their attacks to military objectives and nothing would be undertaken which resembled in the least the American, and that the city is surrounded by important military and naval installations. The Japanese army speaker, however, stressed the fact that Japanese forces would limit their attacks to military objectives, and nothing would be undertaken which resembled in the least the American massacre of innocent Japanese nationals, such as took place shortly before the Japanese landing on Davao. The Japanese speaker further explained that it was desired that the Filipino and United States forces remaining at present in Manila should withdraw from the city to 2 points which the Japanese headquarters named, and which are Antipolo and Contactan. The Japanese army speaker stated further that the Imperial Japanese headquarters viewed the declaration of Manila as an open city as an attempt to arouse anti-Japanese feeling among the Filipinos by involving them directly in the actual hostilities. It is significant, the Japanese army speaker concluded, that the American authorities had issued orders to the Filipinos not to evacuate Manila, notwithstanding the approach of the Japanese forces. The American assets, now frozen in Japan, amount to more than 1,800,000,000 yen. A spokesman of the Japanese Finance Ministry stated yesterday. He emphasized that Japanese assets frozen in Great Britain and the United States have amounted to half that sum. Another strong contingent of French volunteers for the fight against Bolshevism has arrived in Versailles en route to the Eastern Front, it is reported from Paris. Within the past few weeks, heavy fighting has been taking place on the Finnish front east of Helsinki. In a true spirit of comradeship, Finnish and German troops have struck heavily against the Soviets in the thick forests where ice and snow increase and the cold most intense. During the course of these operations, numerous small enemy detachments were completely crushed. During the past 4 weeks, more than 1,700 Bolshevik bunkers and other types of resistance nests, equipped with machine guns and cannon, were put out of commission one after another and totally demolished. Sufficient proof that the fighting had been extremely fierce and bitter. Bolshevik relief operations came to naught when German and Finnish units carried out a number of counter-thrusts which resulted in Soviet retreats and tremendous losses for the Bolsheviks. Thousands of Soviets were left behind on the field of battle and almost countless numbers of others landed in prison camps. In addition, the Bolsheviks lost huge quantities of rifles, machine guns, trench
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to after our intermission. I hope you enjoyed Lord Ha and his, German propaganda, as it were. Hey, everyone. In the first half of the episode, I feel like Greg should tell us what happened. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you stretched, had some water. I have my water. So, Greg, what happened?
Met with Falstaff. Excuse me. Framed Dirk a smidge. Met with Falstaff to see if he could contact the communists to let them know that whatever was going to happen tonight was a olive branch. A little found out again that there was a Mistress Quickly that was potentially being held here. And he went into 84 Avenue Falk to get Jeanette. After some gurgling and some death dancing, Oscar was able to rid the world of 4 Nazis and make his way to the 4th floor of the 6-story building, where he found Jeanette with different hair, a new dress, in no relatively worse for wear, but handcuffed to a radiator at the end of said hallway, the illuminated office of one Elias Yeager.
Yes. And, dye job in her hair. And
Marie
Marceau.
Right.
Different nameplate on the door. Yes. So. Ooh. If you want to ask questions, that's a discover action. And when we left, she looked up and she made eye contact with you. Tears running down her face. Yeah.
If we're back in it, then he is going to make sure that the door can't close, meaning he'll probably just bend the key that is in the lock off.
Yep.
And then shut it enough so it looks closed.
She goes to open her mouth, but she doesn't say anything because she realizes this is a situation.
And then he says to continue her song.
And so she starts singing again because it was quiet for that moment. And she keeps singing, looking a little nervous, like she wants to speak to you, but she can't. So she continues singing. And at that little pause, when she stopped for that one moment, you could hear a little something out in the hallway. And as she began to sing again, whatever it was in the hallway seems to relax.
He would creep towards her and kind of kneel down in front of her, and only one of her hands is on the radiator, right?
Yeah.
Or is she both, or is it just one?
She's got both.
Okay. Well, he would reach up and kind of take both of her hands as she is singing, and he would look at her and say, "Are you okay?"
And she continues to sing. And as she does, she sort of nods, yes, but you don't know if she's convinced. You know what I mean? Like she nods yes, but she still seems distressed.
The second question he asks is, "Did he tell you to keep singing?"
Would you? I need a roll from you, and I feel like what I need from you is empathy.
Sure.
Okay, let me roll her. Let me roll something for her, which would probably be right about that. Okay. And she,
wow! Thank goodness.
Catastrophic -3. She nods yes. You may ask me 2 questions about her that you could glean from empathy. Including if she's lying. This is Oscar sort of like perceiving her like emotionally, and you can ask any 2 questions about her that you like.
Has she told them anything about us? particularly the bunker where she was. She knows where she left from. Did you tell them about the bunker, boss?
That is a true statement.
Okay.
And you can tell she wants to talk to you, but she has to keep singing. And she keeps singing, I hate to see the evening sun go down. I hate to see the evening sun go down. As she continues to sing, and her voice carries out into the hallway. We have another question.
Has she broken? And by that, I don't mean that to be flippant about a mental state by any stretch of the imagination. I mean that because when we saw her in the catacombs,
Yes, she
had shattered, and her psyche was not where. I mean, she went to the screaming room.
Yes,
basically.
She did.
That's the question that he's asking. That he needs. You know, she's singing the song, but she seems more coherent than what she was. But he needs to know for sure.
Yep.
That she has PTSD like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And this is something that he obviously does not fault her for at all. He just needs to know, will she hear him if it's needed?
Well, you're looking at her, and there are a couple of things that you notice about her. One, this is clearly not a great space for her. She's back where she was. But when you last saw her, she was basically dealing with learning that she was tortured for months because of people who she thought were her friends, which is a hard thing. But she never doubted. In between her leaving and this moment, you feel as if something, like she went home, she was captured, turned in. That probably had some kind of impact on her in terms of like who her friends are and who they aren't. Being back in this building is clearly stressful, but she's not in the same space that she was. If you would sort of think about her overall mental state, I think what you'd say is she's very confused. Not in terms of like, where am I, what's going on, but more like, I don't know why I'm being treated the way I'm being treated.
Right.
She is clearly, this is clearly disorienting, like the situation she's in. She's scared, but she's not being tortured. She's been given nice clothes. Her hair has been dyed. So she seems to be, what I would say to you is that rather than broken, she is very confused as to, and distrustful, right? Like this whole thing is like, she doesn't know why what is happening to her is happening, why she's not being tortured, why she's not in a cell, why the things that happened to her before are not happening to her again. And so she is coherent, but freaked out. But also, since she's not being tortured, there's like, okay, well then, what is the trick, right? Like and you can tell that she's not, it's that moment where she trusts you, but she still doesn't really understand exactly why the things are happening to her that are happening to her. Or, to be more specific, why the things are not happening to her that are not happening to her.
If he understands that, then to give her something to kind of orient herself, a compass heading, he would say, "You are here because you are my friend." That is why.
She pauses briefly in the song, but then continues again.
He is bringing you here because he wants me here. Is your mother alive? Do you wish to stay in Paris?
She her hands sort of handcuffed to this radiator. She squeezes your hands. And she stops singing for a moment. And she says, I want to stay with you. And then she starts singing again.
He is coming.
And she just sings a little louder, hoping that will stop it from happening. She kind of tries to pull against the handcuffs, but they're not going anywhere.
He knows that he knows now. Oscar knows that this was Elias's setup. He knows that Elias knows. I want to create an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Elias heard the breaking of the song. It was too quickly. It broke too many times in too rapid succession for it to be anything else. I want to re-up my Hunter or Hunted because Oscar is going to join in the song.
Ooh, okay. That would be performance. That would be performance. Ooh.
It's a good.
That's a good. I need my Elias. Hey, Elias. Let's see how your will is doing. How is your will doing? Average. That will get you another up on that one, Hunter or Hunted. I will not spend my fate point. All right. That gives you 3 on that, by the way. And because you upped one that was already there, that means it's just a little bit easier.
As he's singing, he sings not projecting as much as it is choral. He adds that second tone enough so if Elias is hearing, you definitely can tell a duet started. And when he just allows just a line, and then he whispers into her ear, everything from this point forward is a performance. Do you understand?
She nods.
He pulls out the knife and holds it over her.
And she stops for a moment and she says, his eyes. And then she starts singing again.
And he just waits.
And there's a knock on the door. Just a little.
He takes the bloodied blade and he holds it against her throat, and he wipes the flat of it across that pretty dress and across her throat. And just as that, because it should knock open the door as he knocks, just as he does that, he flourishes and throws her head down as if he has just cut her throat.
Deception. Dear Elias, how good is your empathy? Very good. You're a very empathetic person. Let's roll that. That's a mediocre. You beat him. Because he's not super empathetic, is all I'm trying to say. He's not a particularly empathetic person. He has other skills, and it's not empathy. I'm sure that shocks you. I feel like that shocks you quite a lot. So he steps in, Elias, and he has got his jacket slightly unbuttoned, just like the top 2 buttons. And he has got a pistol in his hand, and he opens the door, and you don't see anyone else but him in the door frame. You assume there are a lot more guards, right? This is the SS headquarters, and you assume there are a lot more guards. But you only see him at the moment. And when he sees you, cut her. He makes this one step forward, doesn't get full the way in, and he almost shouts, but he doesn't. Like, you could tell he was just about to shout, but he keeps himself completely quiet. And he straightens himself up, and he goes, Oscar, I see, has come to visit me. Why did you...
I'm not here for you.
Why did you kill her?
Because she was a loose end. That's what we do.
I'm disappointed.
There shouldn't be. You should remember your training.
Nonetheless, I'm disappointed. He looks pissed. Actually, he looks pretty angry.
Well, if that would be all, then Happy Noel.
Wait.
What's with the gun? It's not your style, Elias.
No, it's not. And he puts it in his holster, and he sort of leans up against this door frame with Jeanette's hands sort of there and her body sort of limp. You're so close to her, you can feel very shallow breathing as she tries to hold herself still. And he stands there against that door frame. He says, loose ends. What are we going to do about this? Holga? Is this bloody murder?
This is your house.
It is my house.
Then get the cleaning lady.
Why are you here, Oscar?
I'm not here for you, Elias.
No, but why are you here?
It's not Christmas morning yet. No presents until the dawn.
And he's not looking at her, he's looking at you. He takes out a small camera. He says, step to the side. To the side. You're in my frame.
I am full aware of the frames. Why are you taking a picture of Marie Mousseau?
I can have photos if I wish. Presents, you say. It is, after all, Christmas. Please.
If that is all, then I will be leaving.
You're not dismissed, Oscar. Not
Hold
yet.
on. You're allowed to hold me with just your words?
In any moment, I could have so many guards in here, and a murder, well, that would look very bad for you, wouldn't it?
It surely would, as would two.
My friend, you would be hopeless trying to murder me.
See, there you're wrong about two things. Me being hopeless in murdering you, and our friendship.
I want to take this photograph of our dead woman. Do you mind? Her position is grotesque.
If this is your thing, Elias, then I will be leaving.
You don't get to go just yet. I have a question for you.
Then you have two choices. Take your sick photography, or you may ask your question. Otherwise, I'm leaving. I'm not here for your art.
What do we do about you coming into my house and murdering someone? What do we do about this?
I don't know what we do. It's what you do, Elias. It's always been about what you do, or don't do, or can't do. That is what has always been between you and I. You see me doing the things that you wish you could.
Perhaps.
And yes, I came into your house, and I have done what I wish. And
Will.
now I'm going to leave.
A will roll. I don't think you appreciate the situation you're in right here. With one shout, everything for you will be over.
And you will have so many questions asked of you as you sit upon the razor's edge on a Paris that is burning.
I will spend my fate point to increase that provoke to a 5, using his main aspect that he is the head of the Gestapo, which means he can indeed call in all those folks. Beating you by 2.
I am going to use the aspect, I think my last one about I'm not alone.
Yes.
That it was given to me by Falstaff.
Mm-hmm.
And I want him to know that despite his grand display of power and his pomp and his circumstance of being able to rush guards in here, that Oscar's not alone either. In fact, I'd like to spend Hunter or Hunted to make him think that Oscar's not here by himself.
Yes. That'll take your Hunter to Hunted down to 2 free invokes. And he watches you, and he just kind of sees a very subtle, perhaps a twitch in your eye, looking to a different position, perhaps. And he just steps a little bit backwards. So you are not alone here.
Are we ever truly alone in the City of Lights?
Who's come with you? Regina? Is she here somewhere?
I warned you of her, didn't I?
Where is she then in this building?
Oh, this is your house, Elias. She is anywhere. That's the game. I am here for this. She is here for...
For what?
You.
Interesting. She's not here for Jeanette, it seems.
So does my job.
You are so very industrious tonight, aren't you?
Ever the upwardly mobile Nazi.
Well. How do we deal with this? My wife would be very angry if I just called the authorities on you, and I'm disappointed that you've killed my friend.
I tell you what. He puts his hand out. Give me her keys. I will carry her out of here.
No. I think I shall dispose of this body myself.
As you wish.
Enjoy
I have better
such
things to
things.
do on Christmas.
Fair.
I would keep your back away from the doors or windows, at least until dawn.
That seems like a threat.
Not from me.
Ah, our sniper friend Regina. I don't think she would ever shoot me. I think she likes me too much. I think she likes me better than she likes you.
Well, let's just say that that's not going to get you very far.
I think it would get me quite far. He's trying to provoke you again, my friend.
So that sounds like a bet.
It's mediocre, that one.
Is that a will?
It is a will.
Look at us. We are just so good at it.
Unless you spend some fate points, that will give him a little boost.
Let's see.
You have 1 group fate point, and you have 3 of your own. He's needling you about Regina.
Yeah, I'm going to spend the last group fate point here, so I'll be with my own trove, and then he just wants him thinking whatever he wants to think about Regina's whereabouts. I can do this all day. Thank you, Goldrake.
Wilson, how are you going to leave this building?
That's telling. You've seen the magicians before? You don't tell our tricks, Elias. It's against the code. You would know that.
Oscar, let's have a very brief discussion over this dying woman's body, or dead already. Bit of a shame. I don't like you.
This is the shock of my life.
I think you are arrogant. I think you are degenerate. I think you don't have what it takes to master the blade. I think you're sloppy. I think you have no art. And it makes me happy to see you have to be this worm, Holger Leixner, day in and day out, being someone so...
And here lies. I didn't think you were a dreamer. You have just shared with me all of your hopes and wishes. These things that you pray are true. And yet you know when you sleep, head upon pillow, that they are not.
I feel like that's a provoke on your part, my friend.
Sure. That's fair.
It's fair, it's fair. I'll take a stress. I'll take a stress, it's fine. You know, Oscar, I find this disappointing. I wish there was something slightly different in this situation. I wish I could just shout out and just have you arrested finally. That would be nice.
Is that what you wish for Christmas?
Yeah. Could you imagine when they all come the guards and I say, this is no Holger Leixner, this is someone else, and he has killed this woman. Do you realize how perfect this is for me right now?
Is it?
It is.
The pictures of us at the party where you have known all this time that I am Oscar Müller and not Holger Leixner?
Oh. Undercover. I'm doing some sort of long-term surveillance. And finally,
I'm sure Berlin would know that as well.
Oh, I have a lot of autonomy.
Do you?
I do. I can do almost anything I want.
Except shout.
I could.
Let me help you.
No, it's all right.
Alarm! And he screams.
Oh no! Okay, I'm gonna need that to be also provoke attack, if you don't mind.
Yep.
If you would. That would be a thing that I need from you.
It's fair.
It's fair, it's fair. Tied. But he has a boost on you, which he will use so that he does not take any stress out of that one. Ooh, you shouted alarm. That's bad. Okay, that's good.
Hunter hunted my last one to keep that as a tie, please. So
that will give you, you actually have one more Hunter hunted.
Right, I'll use that one. Or do I have one more after
You
that?
have one more.
But, okay.
You do. You have one more.
I'm so nervous.
Do you want to use it?
Whatever it takes to...
Because right now that would put you back tie.
let's have a conversation because this is where Trooper has forgotten more about fate than Greg will ever know, and so Greg is going to now implore the GM to see what shenanigans he can get away with.
Oh yes.
What I would like to do is, with that explosion, that full-throated theater yell.
Yes, indeed.
Would that surprise this man who is toe-to-toe with Oscar enough for me to conceivably get the drop on him, not to kill by any stretch of the imagination? I'm talking like head into the door frame, knock him out.
So this is an attack. Right now you're tied. This is a mental attack, and tied means he's not going to take any stress. If you can pump that number up, then we're talking consequences.
Okay,
because he's got some stress he can still spend, but
okay. I want to put so this is me putting the condition unconscious on him. Is that how this works? Or
unconscious is taking him out. So it has to be something that is less permanent, it won't take him out of the scene, but you can give him a different, like you can have him be dazed, right? Dazed is a thing that that will not take him out of the scene completely, but slow him down.
Buy me a few seconds.
But you need to, I will tell you, you need to do at least 3.
And this is like a fight roll?
Because you have got, right now, it was your provoke versus his will, and you're currently both tied. He, surprise, has, his mental stress is decent. He's got a 3 box, so if you can do 4, you can get a consequence on him.
Okay, so you tell me what I need to do here. Do I need to just up it with resources or make another roll?
You need to pump this up with your fate points advantages.
Okay, so I had that one last hunter hunted. I'll blow it here.
Yep, that's 2.
And then I have I'll pull out one of my fate points and bump that up.
You could maybe, if you like, you have a mob with motivation. If they could come into your...
Oh, I got the guys upstairs. Oh, okay. This is it.
You got to tell me how it comes in there so you can get a consequence on him.
As soon as he yells alarm, I want there to be a gunshot from the 6th floor.
Yes. Absolutely.
And everything hits at once, and he is just going to crack his head off of the door frame. With thunderous force.
Yep. So here's the thing about this. He's not taken out, but you may not know this about him. That's going to be enough to get him a consequence, which will be, let's say, would you like dazed?
I'll take as extreme as I can get, like,
or
concussion.
Concussed?
Yeah. Like, I want him out of it for like 30 seconds. It's all I basically need.
So my question is, who do you pass it to? Because we're in a social conflict. Well, we're in a conflict, as it were.
Absolutely. As he slumps down right beside Jeanette, I want to say, Jeanette, and have her get up, and I want her to like grab hold of him, and I'm going to start going after his, I know he's got the key on somewhere because he came in here.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
did some shit. So I know he's got it. I'm going for it. So
okay, she will. Well, she can't do much with her hands, but she'll grab him up. Let me get a roll on this one to see if she can help you out here. That's just an average. That's not good enough. Like, she's holding him, but she's not able to hold him well enough to give you a good advantage on that one. She'll pass it to him because he's got to go at some point. He's going to try his... how he's going to get him concussed. Let's get some awareness to see if he can overcome that. He needs a 4. No, not yet. So you have rung his bell. His ears are ringing. He's awake, but he is not doing well, right? But he is going to try to grab you. This was going to
I'll
try
let
to
him. Yeah.
And this is going to be him trying to put an aspect on you. And I will just note that you have a free invoke on his concussed. He's a 3. I need your athletics.
Son of a biscuit.
Mm-hmm.
Chad, you have no idea how bad Oscar's rolling tonight. I mean,
It's bad.
biblical.
It's bad. What would you like to do about that?
I'm going to re-roll it.
Okay.
Again, let the dice say what they may. I'm not trying to force fate, but let's...
Well, this is what fate's about. What is the aspect you're invoking?
This one is never burn the bard, because he is face to face with this guy who embodies everything.
Yes, everything. Okay.
Fair. That's a fair.
Yes.
Whatever.
You're 1 down.
Okay.
You have
I'll spend my last fate point to get over this.
Okay. Which aspect?
Show
Alternately,
must go on.
Alternately, you could keep that fate point, and you
On
can
this then?
spend the free invoke on the consequence you put on him.
Yeah, he's going to headbutt him when he brings him in close,
Yep.
and just toll that bell one more time.
Because like he's trying to grab you, right? He wanted to sort of put like a grappled aspect on you so you couldn't just get out or get the key. But he's too confused, right? And you headbutt him, and he sort of reels, and he will pass it to the guards.
Sure.
Of which there are quite a few. He did not want those guards in here, though. That is not great for him. He will. The guards are going to come running, and you will see at the door frame 5 or 6 guards with rifles going, "Captain, what's going on?" And they see him by the radiator, sort of head spinning, this dead woman, perhaps, by this radiator, and a figure who they might or might not recognize. We can have that conversation.
He says, as he's cradling his friend, Elias! And then he goes, the upstairs!
I am going to need from you a deception, if you don't mind.
Superb.
Oh, my friend. Okay, we've got a bunch of guards. They are really good in their empathy. But I said there are 5 of them, so that's 0 plus 4. Tied.
Then that last fate point goes here.
Acting, yes.
Oh, that's right. I get my +2.
A plus. Is it a +2? Or is it +1?
Is it?
+1 for the
Whatever
specialization.
it is. It's specialization. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any fate points, though. I can't do anything about it. You don't have any fate points, do you?
I just have 1.
You just have 1.
Because you allowed me to.
Yeah, it's true. You do have the 1. You beat them. And this crowd...
And he keeps his back to them as he's like holding Elias close, and he's just, go!
Oh, Greg, I love you. So these 5 who got their little mob bonus, they see this, they see that you seem to be taking care of it, right? And so they charge off down the hallway. One stays at the doorway as the rest of the 4 go rushing off. And the one who stays goes, how is he? What do we need?
He actually puts on Elias. You said Elias came in with, he was unbuttoned.
Yeah, that's
he
right.
didn't have his...
He was...
Okay, so as he takes Elias by the throat and holds him inside the door, he put like half of his face with a silhouette kind of looking down, and he says, gets a car around.
And the guard in this, and I'm going to say that at this moment, there's a lot of confusion because there's gunshots happening upstairs, right? And there's running, there's sort of blood, and he's not quite certain what's happening. And it's so fast, right? And like there's the way in which you can get this tunnel vision when you just walk into a scene and you don't see everything all at once. And so he goes, yeah. And he rushes off to get a car, an ambulance, something, right? As he rushes off, you know you don't have a lot of time before.
Right, does he hand it to me though?
What? Hand you what?
The action? the action?
He does. Because he doesn't know. He's like, sure, you.
Right. I'm
right?
helping.
Yes.
Okay, so what he would like to do is, since his bell was rung, he takes the key out of where Elias was trying to keep him from. I want to take the cuffs off of Jeanette and put them on Elias and chain him to the radiator.
That's rude. I love it. What do you do now? Who do you pass it to?
Jeanette, of course. It's time to leave.
She gets up once he's handcuffed, and she looks around really quickly. And she's like, you don't know what she's looking for, but she's looking for something. And she says, and she goes and she grabs a purse that's in the room. And she and it's this sort of fancy purse, and she grabs it and she just looks at you and she holds your hand. And she passes it to Elias, who is he's handcuffed. That's not great for him. He's gonna see if he can get himself out of this situation psychologically. No. His bell is still rung. You can see he's trying to focus, and he's trying to sort of like say something, but he is having a really hard time. Like he might be a little bit winded, right? A little bit of the wind knocked out of him, and he can't really say much, and he's stuck in there, and he just says, "This is a mistake. You don't want to do this."
He will lean in, but nowhere near his ability to touch him. And he will just say, "Happy Noel, Elias." And he is going to leave.
Jeanette will come with you. Now, when you get out into the hallway, you see a number of guards rushing this way and that. And one of them sees you and her and shouts, "Halt!" And you can see people with guns moving towards you. A number of them. One of them is going to shoot at you both. Because they're like, we don't know what this is, we don't like it. And these are sort of slightly different guards. There are 3 of them, which will get me a shoot of 4. That's a 2. I need some athletics.
Boy, so do I.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Okay. This hail of bullets comes like shooting down the hallway. Tell me about how you and Jeanette are able to sort of dodge this.
As he's running down the hallway, he starts flinging open the door that Elias had and uses it as a shield. Get this man a shield. And so he opens it and allows the bullets to like splatter against it. As he hugs the side of the wall down, he knows that 1 floor down is his exit point from this building.
Yes.
And so he is going to that stairwell, or when he gets to the stairwell, he is going to throw her over his shoulders like a backpack and just tell her to hang on, a child getting a piggyback ride.
Yep.
And he's going to jump and go from the 3rd landing all the way down to the 2nd floor, or the 4th to the 3rd, where the door is, where his window is.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You have 1 fate point left, right?
Yep.
Would you like a fate point?
No.
I would invoke ghosts from the past for something bad if you'd like a fate point.
He wouldn't do it. I can't do it.
Okay.
He's had such a bad night rolling. I can't do it to Oscar. I just can't.
Okay.
Normally Greg would be like, yeah, give it to me, but I can't. My poor boy's been through too much.
I'm going to take that last fate point of yours.
I'll get rid of it. Yeah. Oh, you got it.
I got it. All right. I will not have any ghosts from the past mess you up right now. I'm not going to do it.
I normally, I'd be all over.
I no.
I dive head first into that.
This is what I'm here for. I'm just here to make it difficult for you.
I know.
So, you burst down these stairs. I'm gonna need, let's say, fight. I'm gonna need a fight from you.
Sure. At this point, can I use this fight as basically he's trying to? It's partially like knocking into people, but it's also misdirection again.
Yes.
It's they're coming, they're shooting. And as he's like kind of cradling her, she looks not like she's been tortured.
Nope.
She looks like she's somebody that might be of importance.
Yes.
And so I'm gonna put all that into it, and I should get a +2 on this.
Yes, indeed. Here we go. Because this is you to like basically you bum rush. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Legendary. Let's do this.
Let me just go in let's get like a, there we go. That was a terrible roll. Okay. Tell me, there are so many people here. There's a lot of security. There's gunshots going on. There are shouts. There are people sort of saying, communists, right? There's all this going on. And I want you to tell me how you get to where you need to go.
This is the if you've ever watched those awesome videos where people do quick changes on the streets.
I have seen those videos. I love them.
They're amazing, right? So as he's going through, as he jabs like full on Oscar bicep to the solar plexus of a guard who doesn't even see him. As he bundles over, he catches his hat and puts his hat on. And as he's going through, he sees a guy with an overcoat that's like half on. He grabs it and swings it off, throws it over his shoulders.
Absolutely.
As he is, by the time he, at least on the outer layer, he looks like a German officer.
Yes.
And he pulls the hat down very low. And he gets Jeanette, and they just head towards the window he knows goes to the blind alley.
I'm going to ask you for one roll, and I'm going to need, you're not really stealthing, so I'm going to need performance.
Okay.
Would normally be deceit, but in this case, because of your stunt, you can roll performance instead. You're heading down to the 3rd floor, towards where you need to go. And you are moving there with a purpose, I assume. And before you can get to the door, you hear behind you, "Sir? What are you doing with Miss Marceau?"
It's my boy, isn't it? Who is it?
It is a lieutenant that you've never seen before, some sort of SS officer. And I imagine you have your cap down. He goes, "What are you doing with Ms. Marceau? She's a guest."
He changes his voice, and he says, "What are you doing asking me questions? Get upstairs and help!"
And this guy does not have a gun on him. He's carrying like a file folder. He came out of one of the offices on the 3rd floor, right? So he's on the same floor you are. He just came out of one of the offices. He's probably holding a coffee cup and like a filing cabinet, like a manila folder with some files in it. And he he just sort of goes back into his office and shuts the door because he doesn't want to go upstairs, but he's being yelled at. And he is just gonna go back in his office. He's just gonna shuts the door with his coffee cup and like just goes right back. And he looks a little tired, right? He has that kind of like, he was probably snoozing off in that office and he sort of got up to find out what's going on. And he just goes right back in the office, shuts the door. Not want to get involved with being yelled at by somebody who's an officer. He doesn't want to deal with it. And you're back quiet on that 3rd floor.
To the window. To the wall.
Athletics.
Mediocre.
That is.
Mediocre.
Would you like to succeed at a major cost?
Okay. No, but I have a Oh man. Okay, so I still have at my disposal. Let me see if I have no fate points. Fate points are gone.
But
I
you have some advantages.
I do, and I want to know if I can use them now because I think
Yes.
I have one more for the mob and
Yes.
one more for the crowd outside my choral
Yes.
arrangement. Right?
That is correct.
I want to use both of those right now,
Okay.
and I want the choir. I want them to disperse because they hear they're
absolutely.
leaving, but I want them to disperse through my alley.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
That was the easiest way to get away.
Yep.
And upstairs, I want these guys to be able to be getting out the opposite way.
Okay.
Like, this is the last of the misdirections. And this is not, this helps with athletics, be getting down. What this is Oscar not being graceful at all. He gets down, falls, slips, cracks his back. But he doesn't, with using the boosts and everything narratively, he's able to catch Jeanette as she comes down.
So this is going to be that's a tie. So there's a minor cost. So there's going to be some physical stress. Do you want it?
Yeah.
You'll take it? All right.
I'll take it.
Take the physical, because I would give it to her if you wanted.
I only have a 2 box, so I'll have to.
Yep.
All right.
You catch her down in this alley with that uniform right there where you hit it. The one that matches Dirk. And you cannot catch your breath before there's a stampede of wannabe performers screaming, running this way and that. You can hear sirens and trucks in the distance coming close. You can hear gunshots. You can hear some shouts. You can hear boots on the snow. People are coming. A lot of people are coming.
He's going to disperse with the crowd, but as he runs by the basket that's got the little bit of pant leg hanging out, he is going to drop the ring of keys.
Just right there. And you make it out amongst this crowd of people. Where do you go?
It's time to get my bike.
Your motorbike. Where do you go? Tell me about this moment.
He's getting Jeanette out.
Where?
An airfield, 50 kilometers north.
It is How do you get out of the city?
We might need to fast forward this 2 or 3 days because he what he would do is he would wait because he has to go back and be in the building before dawn.
Yep, that's right. I will tell you this: she does not want to go back to the bunker because she's kind of freaked out.
No, he's definitely not going to take her to the bunker.
Yep.
He's not going to take her to the flower shop either because she doesn't know about that and he can't
correct.
compromise that. He'll take her to the drummers.
Yes, there is that.
Oh, no. I would have taken her to the drummers, but I don't really trust that cat too terribly much. I'll take her if I don't know if Lindy would allow this. I went to the brothel. They know.
Yes.
They know Oscar there.
Yes, they do. Oh, that's very good. Before you leave her, because she's a little freaked out, right? And she's like, "You're not going? You're not going to leave me here?"
No. We are going to leave. We just have to wait just a few days before the new year.
All right. But will you stay a little?
I can stay until just before dawn.
She nods. And there's this woman, she clearly smokes too much. This woman drinks a little bit too much. Huge forearms. She nods at you, and she makes sure that you get a room at this brothel that you have been to before, up on the, like, in the back. And when Jeanette is in the room alone with you, she hugs you so tightly. And she says, I knew you would find me. And then she hands you the purse.
He would look inside.
She says, it's not mine. He put it next to me, but it's not mine. And the purse itself looks like a woman's purse. It's got documents and things inside.
He's going to look at it.
There's an ID card for Marie Marceau, and it has it's a good sort of official looking ID card.
Is it Tango level good, or is it?
It's not a forgery. It comes from the people.
So it's almost as good as a Tango.
It's almost as good. Almost as good. There's also in there a photograph of Regina and Nicoletta just at the party, that party that you're all at, just the two of them sort of standing. And in the photograph of Nicoletta and Regina, Regina's face is circled in red. That's sort of like a candid photograph. In there, there's also some documents that have like some money, some train tickets. Can you give me a tradecraft?
I can.
Let's see what we
Look
get
at
here.
me.
Let's see what we got here. Oh, all right. You can ask me one question.
Is this a setup? This looks like a setup.
It does. It looks to you, if you were to look at this, right? There's a photograph of Regina. There's money. There's new ID. There is a small pistol, like a very small pistol, like a little lady's pistol in there. This looks to you like the purse of someone who has been paid off by the SS to, let's say, kill Regina. And in exchange for that, there are like extra ration cards in there, a lot of money. It looks like the purse of a collaborator and somebody who's dangerous to Regina.
Right. He would look at it.
And you would say, absolutely, this is a setup. But the person being set up is her, Jeanette.
Jeanette, let me show you something. This is how you do something incredibly sloppy. This is put together wrong. It's we're going to frame you for attempting to murder Regina. You can see now the train tickets, your escape, this ration cards that you've been paid off. And he goes through and he goes, but you see, none of this is all hinges upon speculation and for me being a fool, which I am, but I'm not that big a fool.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Elias, he wished to use you even more than he already has. But it's a bit of a Christmas miracle. It looks like he has a lot of explaining to do.
He
was nice to you?
No.
Good.
But he wasn't mean, he was cold.
He's a killer.
He came to get me by himself. I was expecting more soldiers. And he brought me in the middle of the night. And in that room he dyed my hair and gave me this dress. He made me wear it. He said that I looked like her. I don't know who he meant. Oscar. You know that photograph of
From the
Nicoletta
party.
and Regina from the party?
Right.
She's wearing the same dress that Nicoletta was wearing at that party.
Okay, so this is like some type of he's wearing the same dress as Nicoletta.
Same hair shade as well. The hairdo is close enough, except that clearly Jeanette has been stressed while captured, and so the hair is not in a fine shape.
Is she roughly the same size as Nicoletta?
Mm-hmm. A little younger, of course. She's younger.
Right, right. But if, like, say that there's something were to happen to her face, this could look like Nicoletta. Is that something that, or is that not? It's not close enough.
It's not close enough.
So this is more of like a psychological thing that's going on here. Like he's trying to frame her as an obsessive or something of that nature, or
something like that. Yeah.
Right.
That would be but you could actually that could be a discover if you wanted based on empathy.
I'll give it a shot.
Mm-hmm. What we got here, my friend? Good.
Oh, look
good.
At me.
That's good. Let me get our Elias's deception. Hey, how are you doing, Elias? Where are you at? Well, yeah, you have a average. Let's see what we got here. You may ask me one question.
Basically using Oscar's skill set, which would be they were trained in the same dojo, basically. What was he trying to do here? Was this a setup to make it look like somebody had fallen in love or become obsessed with Nicoletta's life? Or is this something that, there's obviously a frame going on here, but he needs that extra little piece. So my question is, what's the psychological aspect of the impersonation, or at least the pseudo similarities between Jeanette and if the name Marie Marceau means anything related to, or if it's just a
the name doesn't mean anything to you, but you're thinking, okay, is this to like hide the body? If he kills her, what would that be for? What is there? You're like, there's a psychological game here. What is it? Do you know who this might provoke? Regina. This seems to you to be set up to trigger Regina's, let's say her tendency towards violence.
He's going to needle her a bit. She'll get a kick out of this anyway whenever I share it with her, so it might have the opposite effect.
Because you're looking at the photograph of Regina. You're looking at Jeanette. You're looking at Jeanette looking sort of like Nicoletta.
His big play here was to make it look like Jeanette had flipped and was a collaborator and was in the process of doing many, many things that she wasn't.
But he also is keeping her secret. You think that this was made... how do I put this? You imagine that Jeanette was probably going to be dead at the end of this.
Right. But the thing that's triggering in his mind is that when we got down to the third floor, that officer, that soldier said, "What are you doing with Miss Marceau?" He knew her. It wasn't like he had just, if she was a prisoner that hadn't had access in and out of the building, he wouldn't have, so this was a setup that was going at least bleeding out and throughout, Avenue Falk to sell the cell. So he's got some splaining to do, and I love it.
And your best guess is that he figured that Regina would kill her. That is your best guess, that you feel like this was specifically targeted to trigger Regina.
I know we want to wrap up, but I have questions if I can ask.
I am ready. I am ready for them.
I want to know, and Oscar wants to know. My guy wants to know: did the brothers make it out?
Well, that you're going to have to find out later.
Okay.
Because at this point, you won't know.
Okay. And do you or do you not want to? It would be 2 or 3 days later, but he would definitely figure out a way to get himself some papers and get himself using his ass, as soon as I get some fate points back, to basically get himself out of he's going to take a ride with Miss Marceau to an airfield in the north.
That can happen. And I think we can have that happen next session, I imagine.
Okay.
But yes, as far as you can tell, it looks like the game he's playing is not with you, but with Regina.
Oh, believe me, this does not insult Oscar at all. Oscar has never played a game with Elias.
Elias is clearly beating
Oscar
all the time in his mind. But yeah, this is like twice now you killed people that he did not want you to kill.
Okay, so here's what, again, just to cover bases here towards the end. Oscar's going to make sure that all of the garments that she was wearing are taken and put somewhere completely different. This is, he's going to stash this in one of the sheds for the, one of the out sheds where we stage the attack, or where Frida got out. He's just going to put stuff in odd places where they had it. Make sure that there's nothing wrong with it. Make sure there's nothing wrong with the purse itself, to make sure that it's not being tracked or anything like that. And when he gets this all done, I'm assuming he's got is this the place with the fantasy rooms?
Yes, it is.
Like with the Roman. Okay, well, he doesn't want
that.
But he would I know that you mentioned that there was one that had a great big fireplace.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, can he have that one?
Yes, he can.
Okay. That's one where he wants to put Jeanette. And so once everything is taken care of and he's gotten her something to eat, and, I'm sure the ladies there, who are awesome and they love Lady Cobra,
they do,
could start getting her back to normal as far as her hair color and things like that. But Oscar wants to, before, he turns into a pumpkin and has to leave, he wants to have a drink with her. And if he can procure a record player, he
Absolutely.
would.
It's a brothel. Absolutely.
Right. He would listen to, not St. Louis Blues. He doesn't want to play that because that's their song.
Yeah.
But for a very different reason.
Yeah.
So it would be maybe something by the great Frida Engel.
Oh. Yeah.
And he would put it on, perhaps Songs of the Season. Perhaps not. Perhaps Songs of Summer. Perhaps something lighter and airier, and speaking of a time without bullets flying in the air, but instead the petals of flowers. And he would spend that time with her, and
she would put her head on your shoulder. She danced with you. And
they would dance.
She would ask you, why? Why did Sylvie and Regina and Tango, why did they do that to me? I didn't do anything to them.
In wars, there are people that are hurt that don't deserve it. There are more people that get hurt that don't deserve it that do. This is not an excuse. This is not something to make you feel better. It is the worst kind of luck. But there's other types of luck. There is the luck that we have.
He told me that I had a part to play in some grander scheme, and that I had to sing, or he would kill my family.
He cannot touch you anymore. And when you sing, it is not for me, for Sylvie, for Elias, or for any of them. You sing, it is for you. When that voice takes you and carries you, it will no longer carry you from these dark places, to carry you higher still, into the light you deserve to be in.
I was so stupid when I was younger. I feel like I'm so old now. He talked about you. He said that this would work this time and you wouldn't be able to ruin it. But I didn't know what he meant. Something about, he said something about, I didn't understand, Alma. He spoke of a woman, Alma. He said you killed her. And he was angry. Because he said it wasn't supposed to be you? I don't know what that meant. But he said that it wouldn't be you this time. It would be her. I don't know what that meant.
I do. It is a part of his obsession. If you haven't guessed, Elias is very sick. He is, symptoms do not show on the outside. But I fear his condition is terminal.
He said one other thing. But when he said it, I didn't like it. He said that he was a better artist than you, and he would show you.
I'm sure he would try. But you know as well as I do, our art is quick.
When he said it, I was afraid. I think he's going to do something terrible to you, and Can you come with me? We're leaving, and we could go together. We could leave this place. We could go back to the farm. Hannah's parents' farm. We could stay there, and we could have grapes and dance and...
It's good that you know them and you know Hannah. I'm going to send you to her. She is in England. She's helping people.
I thought she wouldn't leave.
She knew that she could do so much good there.
You told me not to trust them, and I left. I was afraid. I didn't. I don't understand the world anymore.
The world is coming undone. There's some things that you cannot understand. But I was lost for a long time. I fear that I was more like Elias than even I will admit.
No. Not you.
Yeah. And then I wasn't. And then I remembered what I was before. And that is because of you.
Me?
Yes, you. And that is why I will always come for you. But I cannot put you in trouble and in danger anymore.
Will you meet me in England?
I will try. If this war ends, then I will try.
I think about the woman who helped him with the hair, my hair. I only saw 2 people while I was there. A soldier. He was there with paperwork, I think. He gave me my name. I think he was somehow, I don't know. And then a woman who came and she did my hair and makeup. That's all I saw while I was there.
Where was they keeping her?
I don't know if they were keeping her. She seemed very stylish, very nice. A little cold.
Was her hair the same as yours?
No.
The ones that they made?
No. She had a short blonde hair. She was German. Pretty. Fashionable.
What's the name?
I don't know her name, but she was not young like me. She was a bit older, maybe more like you. But I saw her twice, I think. That's all I know, I think.
That is all you need to know. And now you can forget it because you've told me.
Oscar, I want you to know that no matter what happens in this war, I will always remember you as my shining knight who saved me and would always come for me.
See, that it's funny because for me, you will always be my shining knight. Someone with a beautiful voice, like the knights of old, who would enter the village and they would sing and inspire the boys and the girls there to sing and dream. So perhaps we are both each other's knights, but if I'm being honest, I would like to be the one that you are.
Well, I will one day be a famous jazz singer, so I just want this all to stop, this madness, and to be loved.
Since that is a Christmas wish, it is official. You cannot take it back. You have already said it out loud in front of a fire, in front of the music, in front of me. I will not forget it. And so this wish is put out there, and there's only one way to seal a wish. You know this. This is it. Otherwise, it is unfulfilled.
Well, then, we must seal the wish.
Yes, did you know how this is done?
I suspect with a kiss. Oui?
Oui. And as they dance before the fire, he will kiss her to seal a Christmas wish.
And she kisses back, and it is a sort of like a mix of sweet, like a sweetness, there's like a piece of innocence still left in her that is in that kiss, and then also sorrow, but also a deep love and a kind of a kiss of kindred spirits, right? Of like a deep connection that says, this is somebody who knows what I've been through, who's seen me, and who I have seen. And it is that kind of a kiss. She looks at you and she says, your eyes are kind. Always.
He just nods.
You know, they said that for French women in the time of the occupation, the only thing you can do is work in a place like this. And here I am, in a place like this. But only, I suppose, for a few days.
Then remember these days.
May I ask a question?
Beginning of a new life.
Would you mind? We have 1 hour before dawn. Would you hold me while I sleep? Whenever you do, I never have nightmares, so...
Yeah, but... And he will... With the clothes that he has brought, he will obviously have taken off the blood-soaked stuff that he's had, but the sweater that he wears as Oscar the barkeep, I'm going to say he has with him, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And he'll give that to her, which I'm sure is like 12 sizes too big. But
yeah, but it smells like Oscar.
Right.
Not like Holgar, who I imagine Holgar has some kind of really gaudy cologne. Right.
And he'll, kind of like pull that over her head, wrap her up in it. And so there you are. All I am is just a less poofy sweater.
Oh, you're more than that. And she sort of like just taps your chest where your heart is. I know. I know who you are.
Now, thanks to you, I remember who I am.
I will always remind you.
Happy Noel.
Happy Noel. And she will pull you to the bed underneath this like huge, like big fireplace. I imagine this is a room that's sort of made to look like an American cabin, right? So you can have like the American cabin experience, right? So it's like this huge fireplace and like sort of like log cabin logs like on the walls, sort of like plastered to make it look like it's a cabin. And she will like pull you in to be her big spoon. Well, she has.
He'll allow it.
And that, I think, is where we will close the curtain, knowing that at some point in time after she's finally fallen asleep, you'll have to go back to the hotel and find out how all that has been taken care of. But somewhere in the city, there's a blonde woman with a bob who has questions. That's us, everybody. Oh, we need a title for the episode, but dearest Greg, how are you doing?
Great. That was one of my favorite RP sessions I've ever had. So just
got me all teary. Got me all teary, my friend. Good old Jeanette. She's probably 19 now, actually. She's probably had her birthday. She's probably 19, right. But she has lived a little bit too long. So if you would tell me, because I adore you, where can we find you? And since it was a solo, I can't ask you to give love, but I will say, where is Oscar's head at as he is making his way, probably through the early dawn streets, back to his hotel, his home, or Holgar's home?
He would never daydream or wander. This is still technically part of a mission that he's on.
Mm-hmm.
And he still has enough of that. This is the play still going on.
Yes.
Curtain call has not happened yet. And so he would keep to the plan of just getting back inside, and his alibi is set. Mm-hmm. I still have 2 invokes on that poor Dirk.
Yes, you do. And those invokes are not going anywhere just yet because you might need them.
Right. He's not going to use them if he doesn't have to. Mm-hmm. I don't want to kill Dirk, but if mm-hmm. Those are there for a reason, but he's just going to get back inside. He's got his Holgar uniform that he can get back into before he gets, back inside. So he's okay with that. But, I think the turning point was, did he go to Jeanette or did he go to Elias in this episode?
Yeah.
And I think that his head would have been in he would have been in a different place had he turned to the left instead of the right.
Yes.
And so while his mind and his focus is on continuing and finishing the performance, his heart, which could have gone differently if he had gone to Elias or as he did to Jeanette, his heart is full at this point, which is a good place for him to be.
In which case you may clear all of that mental stress that you have.
I like that.
If your heart is full, you may clear that mental stress. You still got a bit of a shoulder situation, but that will clear itself. That's why I offered you that fate point. That was the question. Do you give up on empathy to go after Elias right here and right now? Or do you let him go to go after her? And you made a choice.
And you know what? I was super duper close to going with Elias. And then when you said, is empathy a weakness? And I thought to myself, that was the question you asked me at the beginning of the season. And I thought, you know what, if this would be what he would do then.
Yeah.
If that was being invoked, he would turn to her. That's his empathetic. Is it a weakness? But we'll see.
We will see.
It turned out all right.
It turned out all right. Well, now, there are no group fate points, but we'll get some more. I will say, I'm very interested personally. I should ask you. Here's the thing. What is your question? What is your question that you would like to know? And I'll tell you the question that I want to know. Tell me, what is your question? What do you want to know? What do you want to know? I may not answer it, but
I mean, I know that you'll tell us all later, so I don't want to narratively spoil if the brothers made it out, because I'm kind of just curious about that. But I'll ask this question, and I don't want to ruin the Bob, the blonde Bob, because I will ask this though, and I don't think it's the blonde Bob, but I'll ask anyway. Is Greta of Greta Melchior and Oscar, is she in Paris, or is she in Paris? I'll just say that.
She is not in Paris.
Okay.
She is
There's
not.
No question.
That is a good question. She is not. I do know where she is, but she is not in Paris. Maybe you will find out where she is later in the season. But the question I want to know how Oscar is going to deal with the information that he has found. Who he's going to tell and what he's going to tell them, if anyone.
He's going to share everything that he learned, especially from what he gleaned from the pocketbook with, or the purse with Regina and everyone. Regina especially, because it directly influences, that he's coming after her. He hasn't anything to hide. He actually kind of solidified a little bit better of a relationship with Falstaff. He never really had a chance to do that. Oscar's usually in the back leaning against something.
It's true. It's
solo episodes I get a chance to do a little bit more, and it was fun.
And it's interesting because, people have kept Oscar away from Falstaff a little bit. Like, they're like, we don't necessarily want you talking to Falstaff, or Falstaff talking to you. It's more, I think it's more like that. But Falstaff has his biases. And you are a big, strong, muscly dude, and he likes that sort of a thing. He's like, a big, competent man, because,
Right. But the other thing that I liked about Falstaff is, and again, this is something that we really haven't touched upon, but, it's not like Oscar took a pledge to the SOE or anything.
Yeah.
He's there as basically a volunteer. Now he knows he's kind of like in a corner when it comes to all this, but at the same time, I mean, he follows orders.
Yes.
For the most part. But I think that Falstaff realized during that exchange where he said, I don't think you should, storm this place. He realized that he really can't order Oscar to do anything.
This is correct.
And
this is correct.
But again, Oscar's not belligerent about it, but it's a bit like the Tango Falstaff die, except Tango was a lot more, F you, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Oscar's more like, I respectfully decline. But
the only problem is that it was a bit more irritated with Tango because they got Tango out of prison in order to do this job, right? Like, so they're like, you didn't go to prison, so you're going to do this. And Tango's like, okay. So, Falstaff did not like Tango's lack of professionalism. Let's call it that. And
right.
Yes, but he does respect a professional, which is why he respects Oscar, especially today, and Regina, because they're both professional. He's like, okay, these people are professional. I can deal with them. Some people he found less professional. That was just, but that's him. That is him. There will be, of course, fallout and consequences for all of this, and I'm very excited to see what they'll be and how they'll be turned to your advantage. And I will just say, my favorite moment, you can give me yours, my favorite moment was when you called out guards alarm. That was the best. I loved that. Elias didn't love it, but I loved it a whole lot. I was like, this is the best ever. Yeah.
It was just as bad for him as it was for me. And I knew it. And I knew it was just as bad for him to have them come as it would be for me to come, or for me to have them arrive. I loved that's, again, it's a testament to sitting here, everybody, and have a conversation. First off, chat, you're absolutely fantastic. Before I forget,
chat, I love you.
I've done I'm not a million. I've done a lot of streamed shows. I have a lot of communities that I hold very dear to my heart that have been absolutely fantastic. I'm going to tell you this. I had this chat open the entire night, and I read everything you guys were putting in, and my heart swelled like the Grinch several times. And I love you all. You are absolutely fantastic. This is not me blowing smoke up anyone's ass. This community is just the absolute best. And to be able to be so invested in this, and someone just said I'm sorry, but someone just said they were at 5 a.m. their time. God love you. God love you for sitting here and watching the two of us proud of one about this fantastic game. But, it's just the best. And you all are absolutely fantastic. And people putting in just things like, like Holder, like you do it,
Yes.
I love it, because that's what I would do.
Yes.
And I absolutely, Ice Bunny. That's it. Thanks, yes. Cold Drake. Thank you, Ice Bunny. And I just wanted to make sure that I really, because I'm here by myself against Troopers World. And I realized about 30 seconds in, I was not alone.
No.
That I had the chat with me, and I felt 1,000 times better. So anywho, that's me. That's what I think. I love you all. I love Trooper and his amazing world. I'm Greg Grimjack 21502. You can't follow me online. I'm around in certain places. You'll see me doing Atari Twilight at some point over on Unmade Gaming. Yeah. Sometime this fall. I can't wait to get into that. And just fun. My son's Awkward Teenager podcast has some huge announcements that are coming up. Please follow him. He's just a great young man. But again, I just want to say my heartfelt appreciation. My Christmas wish was to have a fantastic session, and I received that with a great GM and a great chat and a fantastic show. I'm done.
Oh, I just want to say I'm troopersjp, the GM for this madness, and I am. How lovely that ending for Jeanette was. I did not know what was going to happen with her, because it could have gone either way, and depending on when and where and how, it would have been very different, and that was very lovely. And I feel like, oh, can I get actually, it's fine, because guess what? You get a breakthrough. This is a solo episode, so you get a breakthrough. So there you go. I'm excited for that, to see what's going to happen. But it was lovely. I love this, and I'm really excited to see how this will impact Oscar moving forward, because there was a lot that happened right for Oscar in this moment. I'm excited to see what his relationship with Falstaff will be like. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Elodie, which you're going to meet her in 2 or 3 days when you head up to the landing strip. So I'll be excited for that. And I'm excited to see how Elias and Oscar dance later, because I feel like they're gonna hang out and be friends in a probably very violent way at some point in time. And I'm just saying, I'm feeling it happening, and I'm very excited for that, because he is just a little obsessed with you. It's cool.
He's I mean, I guess the law of averages states that he's got to win one at some point. But man, oh man, if you're like 1 in 100, 0 in 100, and then you get a 1 in 100, I mean, you still only won one, right?
I feel like the title is, by the way, The Better Man. I saw that one in there. I thought that was great. Right? Because
I love that too.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. All right, my friends, if you'd like, you can find me. What is today? Friday? You can find me tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern over at Unexpected Productions for the first episode of the improv theater show Cupid on Mute, which is sort of a take on reality dating shows. And that'll be for 4 Saturdays in a row. You can find me there. And then on Sunday, you can find me over at 4 p.m. for Faint Dawn over at Table Story, and at 8 p.m. over at Praxagor, the Smoforia's channel, for Romance the Blue Rose. And then Witcher roads home over at Praxis Channel on Wednesday at 8. And then, back here for everybody getting back together for Kolos. And again, y'all can decide how much skipping ahead you want to do. That's all up on you. My loves, take care of yourselves. Wait. I want to say we did get some bits come in. And I would like to thank Hawkeye, who's amazing and has such a lovely robot and soda shop, gave us 400 bits and it says, "Go, Oscar, go!" Rissa gave us 500 bits and says, "With all of the loves," showing so much love. Willen donated 100 bits and says, "I can't always be in chat, but I can now." What an awesome episode again. Thanks. Thank you. And Less Than 3, which is some love right there, donated $25. Thank you so much. And you are all the best. Thank you all for being here. Follow us, hang out in our Discord if you like. And we will see you all next week. And take care of yourselves and go and dance. That's what I'm going to say. Go and dance. Goodbye, everyone.